Um, so agent orientation, hopefully that's what you're here for. Agent orientation is 2.5 to 3 hours roughly. We're going to go through quite a bit. The handouts will be really helpful for you for reference later. We don't expect you to remember everything today, but hopefully it will help get you settled into our processes and systems so that you can move forward successfully. So let's go ahead and get started. Sound good? Oh, and just for a frame of reference, so I'm going to teach you guys for about the first hour. I'm going to go through our policies and procedures and then the Silver Creek Toolbox. We'll take a quick break, and then George will take over and teach you all about our document portal where you upload your transactions, and then some website and other technology type things. So, alrighty, well, let's go ahead and get started. Just a little bit about Silver Creek. We are a real estate brokerage. We started in the Boise area in 2008 and have since grown to be the #1 brokerage in Idaho. And we recently opened regions of Montana and Washington. So we've got a handful of agents in both of those states, and those areas are continuing to grow. So an amazing brokerage, really agent focused. Our owners, who I'll introduce you to in a minute, when they started Silver Creek, the driving force was, it seemed like at that time, and maybe even still, that brokerages saw agents, real estate agents, as a profit center. Go out, sell real estate, make us money. And we wanted to flip the script and really come to the table with, hey, you are our client. You are running a business and you need certain services, and we want to serve you in the ways that you need. And so everything we do today is all about how to make your lives easier, better, and help you reach your goals in your business. So great company. A little intro on our team. This is the Dowdy family, Aaron. His parents, Roger and Joyce, they are our owners. Aaron is our president. He has his office here in Meridian. His door is open. He'd love a handshake, love to get to know you and meet you. Also works has history in the commercial space, but investment and development, he's a great contact if you want to network with him. Roger is retired now. Joyce works part-time in our accounting department. She's trying to keep her foot in the door. It's always so wonderful on the days that she's here, but just really great people to lead our organization. Next is our broker team and our designated broker, Krista. She is here. We'll come up and do an intro of her team.
Thank you. Good afternoon. What else would you want to be doing on a Friday afternoon? Just this. Right here is the place to be, for sure. Welcome to Silver Creek. We are so happy to have you on board, for sure. And just as Kristen said, you are our clients, so we work for you. We got a ton of resources for you. One of those includes broker support, which is kind of important when you're talking about the largest transaction in people's lives, right? Myself, designated broker, so I've been with Silver Creek since 2010, not quite since the inception, but almost there, and broker since 2015. So I'm on my going on to my 10th year here. Wow, time flies. I love it. It's great. And we have just spent so much time just trying to kind of create a great environment where you're comfortable reaching out to us. Don't be afraid. You're not in the principal's office. When you walk in my office, it's an open door policy. I even have candy if that helps you get all the way in the door. Don't be afraid to call. There's no dumb question. There's no, I should know this thing. I mean, we should all know things, but we might need that validation or just that, yeah, you got this, you're on the right track kind of thing. So please, please, please don't be afraid to reach out to us. That's why we're here, to serve you. Kristen Scanlon is my managing broker, and her office is just down the hall here in Meridian on the right. Mine is on the other side of this wall here in Meridian. Again, open door policy. Come visit us for sure. Amy McKinnon is our new agent. What is new agent director? New development director. So she works with the new to the industry, helping them through, or some of you, I'm not sure, through the first few transactions, line by line on the contract, things like that. She's a great resource. And then Aaron, obviously, he's helpful as well. You met him on the previous slide. And his phone number is out there. He picks up his phone. We all do our best doing that. I've got, there's a broker line. It's the main office number, and you hit option 2, takes you to broker support. and that rings my phone and Kristen Scanlon's phone. She's really quick to the draw, let me tell you, so chances are she'll grab it first if you go that route. I'm usually on my cell phone and she gets the desk phone. But anyway, we are here for you. Leave a message. We will get back with you. Our goal is within 1 hour during normal business hours to respond to you, whether it's text, email, phone, however. Just don't pigeon mail. Just don't do that because. Did you? Darn it, no wonder I haven't responded to you yet. I'm still waiting for it to get here. Anyhow, so that's our goal, and we really take pride in making that happen. And it's just awesome that we can do that. And, you know, before we close up shop, we make sure that all the emails are taken care of and the phone calls are returned and everything. So I know there's a lot of people here at Silver Creek, a lot of agents, but rest assured we've got your back. Okay, you have any questions for me? Don't be afraid. Really, I'm approachable. My kids don't think I am sometimes, but.
What are the best hours to reach you?
3 o'clock in the morning, I will not answer your call. Thank you. So normal business hours, obviously. Kristen Scanlon seems to wake up a little earlier than I do and be ready to start the day. So you could probably get her kind of that 7:30-ish and beyond hour. I probably shut my phone off maybe 9:30 or 10. I tell agents that I get that there are emergencies in real estate, but not all emergencies will involve me. Okay? Like if the house is on fire, you're listing, don't call me. Nothing. I'm going to tell you to make another call, right? Call 911, not me. So if you're midnight, you're writing an offer and something pops in your head, just shoot us an email. Because again, there's not that kind of an emergency that needs to get resolved at midnight usually. Okay, escrow's not open, the lenders aren't open, everybody's cranky and wants to get sleep anyway, so it's probably best to just sleep on it and we'll deal with it the next morning. Common sense. I love that, common sense. So, anything else? Awesome. All right, buckle up, you got a lot of information coming at you. Okay.
Thank you. You're the best. You guys, she really is the best. And I'm not just saying that. Not just because she's in here, she's really great. Chris is also really involved in the industry as a whole and involved at the National Association of Realtors level, state level, local. She really walked us very successfully through all the practice changes last year, which those of you that are brand new, there weren't a ton of changes in Idaho, but you're not going to know any different, which is great. So those of you that are brand new in our training program, during your training, which is typically 3 transactions, you're going to work specifically with Amy or with another member of our training team. So we've got trainers in the different regions where we have offices. And so you won't reach out to the main broker line until you've graduated training. All of your questions and contracts and all of that will go through your trainer until you finish up training. And then the broker team, Krista, Kristen, Aaron will be your points of contact then. So we've got just great people kind of bringing up the next generation of agents, which is awesome. I'm part of our agent support team, and I'm our operations manager and agent director here at Silver Creek. I'm a good point of contact for the things that you don't know who to call for. So, and for those of you transitioning to Silver Creek from another brokerage, I kind of help with that transition process, get you plugged in. So I keep similar hours. We all strive for a really prompt return, phone call, text message, emails. We're all very active in that way, engaged. You guys are our priority, so that is number 1 for us. I think a good rule of thumb, like Krista said and like you mentioned, is if it's after business hours and it can wait until business hours, let's do that. If there's something urgent that is like really time sensitive, we're absolutely available for you. So there you go. Kim is our marketing director. She oversees all the marketing tools we have available for our agents. She also helps strategize on marketing, your own marketing plan, which is awesome. George, you'll get to know him today. He's our CIO, oversees all of our systems and technology. Elaine, her team, they review every transaction document that comes through the brokerage and puts the stamp of approval on it. or sends you a love note that says, hey, looks like the buyer forgot to initial on page 3. Get me an update. So they're awesome. And then Bet and her team, they manage our accounting and they make sure you get paid. So we love them the most. They also oversee your agent account at the brokerage. And I'm noticing that you're short a handout. And so I'll print one for you. I thought I had enough, but it looks like I didn't. It's a copy of all of my slides. So I'll print one for you in just a bit. All right, let's talk about your agent account, billing, charges, how all of that works, and I'm happy to answer any questions around that. So each of you have an account here at the brokerage where we manage your monthly brokerage fee. Any accessory charges, like if you're printing or if you purchase a sign panel, or at the Meridian office, we've got some hats for sale. Anything like that, that would bill on your agent account. We will issue charges on the 13th of the month. On the 14th, you will get an invoice, and that will come through email. And then on the 15th, if you have set up autopay, that is when autopay will process. So your first billing, likely for all of you here, will be next week. Can't believe we're already to the middle of January. And we have an ePay account where you access your account information and invoices. You would have received an email from our accounting department within a couple days of joining Silver Creek that has a unique code and a link that you need to set up your account. We cannot access your account. It's a secure portal, financial, right? We want to make sure that's really locked down for you. If you have a hard time getting in, we can send you like a reset email, or if you didn't get the initial email, we can send an update to you to get it set up. So when you're in here, you can view your invoices, view payments, you can attach a credit card or a debit card to make a payment, and then you can set up autopay. So it's all kind of right there in the portal. And yeah, that's really helpful. Also related to financial things, we have kind of a back office with all of your financial records. What you see here, this is SC Office, the document portal. And within SC Office, we have this back office link. And that is where you're going to find income and expense reports, your 1099 at the end of the year. You guys will likely not have a 1099 with Silver Creek this month. You'll see emails coming out, but that is only for agents who had a closing and received commission in 2024. But you'll have that here, and then a link to the invoice, and then also a link to access your independent contractor agreement that you signed with Silver Creek. So that's all available too. All right, printing. So we have printers at our offices, and you have access to print. You receive 200 black and white copies or prints a month. I feel bad. You're just like trying to like find a place. Oh, sorry, to write notes. 200 black and white copies or prints a month for free. That are black and white only. They're 7 cents a piece after that. So if you're printing property reports or, I don't know, a copy of the RE21 purchase and sale agreement or something like that. You can also print color. None of those are free, but they're only $0.25 a piece. So flyers and things like that you can print at the office. This is all tracked through your agent account, and it's part of your billing charges if you have any extra printing charges. Our printers, you log in with the last 6 of your social. You're going to find out that is a key, like little password for you at the brokerage. And we can also hook up your laptop to be able to print directly to the printer. To do that, you need to connect with our tech team, and you have to be in one of the Silver Creek offices connected to Wi-Fi. So it's not something that can happen remotely from home. You need to be in one of our buildings. So if you have your laptop today, we can do that after orientation. In the Boise area, every Wednesday from 1 to 2, we have open tech hour where you can just like pick their brain, and you can do, your laptops. If you have other tech systems questions or needs, they're available.
That's in the Boise office?
I know it's here. Yeah, and then if you want to set up, you can schedule on the toolbox an appointment one-on-one with the tech team if you need to set up your printer another time. So any questions about this? All righty. E&O insurance. So you are all covered on the group Silver Creek E&O policy. It is about the best E&O policy you can get. Because of our group rate, it's $245 a year, and it covers up to $2 million per claim per agent. And we hope you never have to use it. Our goal is to, help prevent these situations and, to help navigate any complexities in your transactions. But once in a while, right, things happen. So this is paid for through the brokerage. If you're brand new to the industry, you'll see a charge on your first statement for a prorated amount for now through the rest of the policy year, which is October. If you're transferring from another brokerage you already paid in the fall, we won't charge you again until it bills again in October. So you do not get E&O insurance outside of the brokerage. So this is always in September. You'll see messages from us, don't buy the insurance, because everyone's going to be advertising to you that you have to have insurance and you have to get it here and you have to get it now. We've got it. You're covered. So there you go. All right, transaction requirements. If you are brand new, a lot of this is going to be foreign, and that is A-okay. Your trainer is going to walk you through step by step all of your first transactions, so you can build that confidence and that understanding to be successful. If you are from another brokerage, we do have a couple things that are different that will be helpful to know. So first, your designated broker is Krista Deacon. Your trainer might be Amy McKinnon. You might find that you're talking to Kristen Scanlon a lot. Regardless, your broker is still Krista Deacon. She takes responsibility for all of your contracts, which is kind of a big deal. So this is the contact info for the broker team. Great to have that. You should also receive a card in the mail from us with a little foldable, like business card size reference of all the contact info for our staff. So hang on to that. You can also find that all on the toolbox. Okay, earnest money. This is a snapshot of the earnest money section in the Idaho RE21 purchase and sale agreement. If you're using a different kind of agreement, like sometimes if you're working with a builder or for our agents in Montana or Washington, it might look a little different. Principles are the same. We do not hold earnest money at the brokerage. It is all held by the closing escrow company. And we're so grateful for that service they provide for us. When you fill out your contracts, you're going to say, how is that earnest money being paid? By the buyer. Who is it held by? The closing company, unless it's a herd of cattle or a 57 Chevy, in which case you'll see Section 5 and figure that out, because the title company don't want either of those things. When is that earnest money going to be delivered or dropped off? And then when is it going to be deposited? All like 4 separate steps in the earnest money. Now, a couple things. This is very regulated by the Idaho Real Estate Commission, which means if you mark personal check and your buyer drops off a cashier's check, we will ask you for an addendum. It's required by Idaho law. So make sure you're doing, what actually is going to happen happens. It is best practice for your buyer to deliver their own earnest money. As soon as you touch an earnest money check, you have taken entrusted funds. They have to come to the broker immediately. They can't sit in your car overnight. It can't fall between the seat. You can't throw it on your desk. As a protection to you, it is best practice to tell your buyer, hey, we've proposed what we're doing with the earnest money. Once your offer is accepted and we've met whatever we've said we want to do, and that's been agreed upon by the seller and the buyer, I will let you know where to drop off your earnest money. Then they can deliver it to the title company. A lot of title companies have like an electronic transfer option. which is great. Just make sure you're having good communication about wire fraud in that. But don't touch that earnest money check. That's all. That's my soapbox. Okay, next is commissions. So there was a lot of, news and commotion around commissions last year. And Silver Creek has always been set up with how the new regulations are. So there wasn't many changes for us. But to reiterate, Silver Creek is a full service brokerage, just like many, large franchise brokerages. We are full service. Your commission is negotiable. There's no standard commission amount. For years and years and years, we've seen a variety of commission amounts on agreements at Silver Creek and in Idaho. Commission can be shared with an agent that procures a buyer for a property. So the seller can share those commissions with the listing agent and the buyer's agent. That is allowed. You cannot talk about what that commission is in the MLS. And that was the primary change for Idaho. It used to be that we could log into MLS and see what's the cooperating compensation. 2%, 3%, $5,000, whatever it was. That is not there anymore. So what do? You pick up the phone and you call the agent and you say, hey, what is the cooperating compensation on your listing? Or even better yet, you get it in writing. There is a new form for that some listing agents may use, text message, email. It's nice to have something to reference back to with a date. So you can also negotiate commissions now in the purchase and sale agreement, which previously in Idaho you could not do. So anyway, you've got options. Any questions here? Yes.
And Silver Creek also has a website now where you can publish, if you're a listing agent, you can publish what you're offering and you can refer other agents to that.
That's exactly right. I wonder if I have, oh yeah, it's right here. Perfect.
Never mind.
You're reading my mind. I was like, I know I have it in here somewhere. Where? Okay, before we get to this, we have a really helpful resource page. If you want to review some of the practice changes, this is all of our guidance from Krista, from the National Association, and from Idaho Realtors. So lots of good info here. Keep in mind these practice changes were related specifically to the National Association of Realtors and the MLS. This was not related to the state of Idaho or license law. So different, like it's more code of ethics related than license law related. So, okay, we have a website called silvercreeklistings.com. On this site, you can opt in to have your Silver Creek listing presented on this site with co-op compensation. And then you ask, wait, I thought that wasn't allowed. And it isn't allowed in the MLS. It isn't allowed related to MLS data feeds. So like the feed that comes from MLS to Zillow or to Realtor.com, they cannot share compensation. This site is owned by Silver Creek, and the data comes from our database of information, not theirs. So we can share it. George will show you today, but there's a place where you opt in when you're uploading your transaction into our system. So it's pretty cool. You can check it out. I think we've got about 1,000 listings on there right now, all over the state of Idaho, and a couple few in Montana and Washington. You can share this with the public. You can share it with other agents. You cannot link this in your MLS listing, but you can have it in your email signature. You can put it on social media, things like that. So, questions?
So you can't mention it on the MLS?
You cannot. No. Nope, just keep that as far away from any MLS number or anything, just for your own protection. But you can say, hey, check out my new listing, view details and cooperating compensation at, but don't share the link to the MLS listing in that post, right? Like just keep everything separate. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about dual agency. So dual agency, for those of you who just graduated real estate school, you kind of hammered this in. This is when one Silver Creek agent is representing a seller and the other Silver Creek agent is representing a buyer. We do allow for that. And in Idaho, this is how you'll check the boxes. I'm not going to go into detail. When you get into the situation, which you probably will, call your trainer or the broker team and they'll help you know how how to talk about representation. All right, the due diligence disclosure. This is a Silver Creek required disclosure for every transaction file. So new to Silver Creek, but experienced agent, this is the major difference. This is a disclosure for your buyer that lets them know what their responsibility is in the transaction. What kind of due diligence do they need to do on their purchase? For a seller, it lets them know what kinds of due diligence might be happening on the sale of their home. So why do we have this? Well, this is why you can have a $2 million E&O policy for $245 a year, in short. This is a protective document for you. Example, you represent a buyer, property closes, 2 months later they call you, we found black mold, we're all extremely sick, and I'm suing you because you never told me to have a mold inspection. And you're just like racking your brain, like, I'm sure we talked about this, like, what did I do wrong here, right? This disclosure is what will say, actually, yes, I did. So homework, I'm gonna give you guys a few pieces of homework today, is to read the due diligence disclosure so that you understand what it is, so you can explain it to your client. It is required in every file, like I said. Where do you find this? We have a copy on the toolbox. You can download a PDF. In Instanet or Form Simplicity or Zip Forms or ZipLogix or whatever forms platform you use, there is a Silver Creek folder, and it is in that folder so that you can pull it into a transaction with the other documents you're going to be completing for that client. Any questions? All right.
So this is separate than the state required disclosure form?
Yes, so in Idaho, the Blue Brochure or agency disclosure form, this is totally separate, different purpose, but both are, required.
At what point in the transaction does it have to be presented?
So for those online question is, what point in the transaction do you present this? I would present it sooner than later, definitely at the time of offer. Or if you're doing a buyer representation agreement or a seller or listing representation agreement, as soon as you're having them do any signatures, do this. And it's an easy one to talk about. It's like, hey, like, I'm here to guide you through the process. Here's some things you'll want to consider as we move forward with this offer or with this listing. So yeah, you're so welcome. And when you're in the situation, if you need scripts, especially if you're new, the trainer can also give you like some good talking points for it. Okay, next is referral agreements. My favorite kind of commission is referral commission, the kind where I don't do anything except for refer. You can get referral commission from any licensed agent in the United States. So if you refer a client to someone in Texas or Tennessee or New York, you can still receive referral commission as long as you are actively licensed. You cannot receive commission if you are inactive. Now, all referrals should be in writing. Whether you're referring a client or someone's referring a client to you, it's much easier to follow through on commission payouts if it's in writing. And you do upload referral agreements into SC Office. So you can find this Silver Creek referral form in the same place as the due diligence disclosure.
Is there a standard referral commission in Idaho?
There's no standard referral commission in Idaho. We see a lot of like 20 to 30% if someone's referring a client, but it varies, all up for negotiation. Yeah, everything's negotiable, right? Yeah. Okay. And back to the commissions piece, we're fine with you guys referring or negotiating your commission. Like, we don't have any requirements for you on, hey, at Silver Creek, we charge X. That is not our standard of practice and never has been. So your transaction fee that you're paying will remain the same regardless of how much commission you negotiate to bring in for yourself. So, okay. Next, let's talk about getting paid. One of the best parts, right, of the transaction. Well, funding and recording and just the relief of that is amazing. But then getting paid is great. So 2 ways to get your commission checks. The first is to get paid by the title company at the time of closing. So once it funds and records, the title company can release your commission to you. Most of them have like a direct deposit option. You can pick up a check. There's a number of places they'll deliver a check. They have a lot of options. You will learn from George today about a form that you have to fill out in order to get this approved by the broker. The title company cannot release your commission without Krista's signature because technically the commission belongs to Krista. So you fill out 2 to 5 days before closing. You'll fill out your, it's called a distribution authorization, how much commission you're getting, how much is going where, did you give a credit to the buyer, are you paying a TC, do you have an outgoing referral fee you have to pay to another agent, and you map that all out for us. You'll say, yes, all of my documents are in, I have no outstanding needs in my file, you'll hit submit. From there, the broker team will review your file and give their stamp of approval, and then they will sign and send the form to your escrow officer so that escrow officer can release closing, or commission at closing. Any questions? I know it's a lot. Like I said, you guys do not have to remember all of this. We will walk you through it, and you can call anytime or text. Okay, the other option is to get your commission through the brokerage. So if you don't fill out the DA, or you fill it out too late, or your file's not complete and it doesn't get approved, you will still get paid, which is great. It might be 1 day later, but you'll be okay. So what will happen here is your transaction will close. Title company will send us your commission check and the settlement statements, and then we will process that in our systems. The broker team will review your file for stamp of approval, and then we will release your check. What happens if your file is not complete or there are outstanding requests? We will hold your commission check until it's complete. It is the only leverage we have over your compliance. And we're doing it for you so you don't get busted by the real estate commission. So when your check is ready, we will shoot you an email. Our accounting department will. In the Treasure Valley, you pick up checks in Meridian. We don't have direct deposit at the brokerage because it would further delay your commission, which we know many agents are anxious to get their hands on that check. We can also print checks in Nampa if that's a preferred location for you. We do have to set that up in our system special though. And then for those online, we also print in Pocatello and Idaho Falls. So ultimately the DA gets you paid quickest, sometimes easiest, as long as your file is complete and you do it in time. So. Questions, concerns here? Alrighty. Do you want to be paid to a business name? So some of you may have an LLC or an S Corp or something set up where you want your commission checks to be paid. We can absolutely accommodate that. We do have to have a W-9 form, and that's the IRS form that gives us your tax ID number. So we have a place to report your income at the end of the year. You upload that into SC Office. Once you have your W-9 filled out. All right, personal transactions. One of my favorite parts about being in the real estate industry is the knowledge and understanding of your own real estate portfolio, whether that's your personal home or investments. And we absolutely encourage you to do transactions for yourself. They are covered on our E&O. Not all E&O policies cover personal transactions. Ours does. You do not have any waivers with your transaction fee on personal transactions. Me, you, Krista, Aaron, we all pay it. So, but it's a very reasonable fee. So, sounds fine. All right, transaction coordinators. Do you guys know what a TC is, most of you? So a TC, transaction coordinator, is someone who can help run your life for you and your transactions. They'll take care of all the back end of your paperwork, help you with your time frames, keep you on track, keep you organized, upload documents to our system. They can help you maintain your listings or put in listings, all kinds of stuff they can do. We do not have any TCs on staff at Silver Creek, but we do have referrals on the toolbox of licensed transaction coordinators, which is an added benefit if they have a license because they can do more for you.
They don't need to be agents?
Well, these ones they're licensed agent transaction coordinators. They don't have to be. There are unlicensed assistants or transaction coordinators. They're just a little limited in legally what they can do, but there's plenty of those too who, work around it. If you are newly licensed, we ask that you don't use a TC until you have finished training. No matter what happens in your transaction and who's doing it, you are still responsible. And so we want to make sure you understand fully your contracts, timeframes, contingencies, communication, all of that before you turn some of that over to someone else. So once you're out of training, Krista will say it's the best $500 you ever spent on a transaction. It really frees you up to, focus on other parts of your business. Although there are some agents who just really love the paperwork and they don't want to outsource that, and that's fine too. That's great. So I TC'd for, almost 10 years, and I loved it. It was great. So anyway. Okay, any questions about transactions? Top highlights there. Alrighty, let's talk about marketing and advertising. I find this section a lot more fun, so here we go. All right, first, advertising. So, from real estate school, what is required in every advertisement? Brokerage name required in every advertisement. On a website, has to be on every page. On a social media post, within one click. Someone should be able to click from that post one time and find out what brokerage you're with. So make sure you've got that. You have to have your legal name and in every advertisement as well. If you have a nickname like Christopher and you go by Chris and you want to put Chris on your business card or your website, that has to be registered with the Real Estate Commission in Idaho. Montana, it does not. Washington, I'm sure they have a process for that because they have rules for everything in Washington. So you've got to get that registered. Otherwise, you're at risk of a violation with the Real Estate Commission. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like paying extra money. So yeah, there you go. It's just a quick one-page form to fill that out if you need it. All right, marketing. Another thing I love about Silver Creek is we are here to help you build your brand. You are not here to help us build our brand. We're here to help you build yours and to build your business. As a result, you can use colors, fonts, your own business logo, slogans, any of that fits your business and your brand. Do you have to have all of that? Definitely not. But if you're wanting to create that for yourself, we have lots of resources to help. Our only requirement is that when you use the Silver Creek logo, which, caveat, you don't have to use the logo. You can type out Silver Creek Realty Group. Either one is fine. But when you use our logo, we ask if you can please keep it white, blue, or black. That's how we provide it to you. Hopefully one of those three will work with your brand colors. And then don't squish it or stretch it out or make it look weird. How's that? I do get asked if I have to have the brokerage on every advertisement. Yes. Can I just use the S? You may not. It has to be the full. The logo works because it has Silver Creek Realty Group in it, or just type it all out. If you have your own business logo, I sell houses Boise or whatever it is, sometimes it's hard to figure out how to put two logos on a business card, in which case you can use your logo and then just type out Silver Creek Realty. So. Kim in our marketing department, she's phenomenal, and she can help you with any of this. We have several classes that we teach on creating a business brand and business planning and things like that to help. So we do not provide an email account for you. This is all back to helping you own your own brand and business. If we provided your email for you and then in 5 years, you moved out of state and were at a different brokerage, you wouldn't have access to your email anymore. And that is really, really painful to lose an email account. So you can use whatever email you would like to use. It can be isellrealestateboise@gmail.com. It can be, Kristen@isellboiserealestate.com if you have a domain. Whatever works for you is fine for us. So. Okay, business cards. We've got a few options for business cards. We have a standard template that you can just customize, plug in your info, and then order. We have the ability to do a custom design for you. So if there's a certain color scheme, or if you have a logo or want to make a logo, we can do a design just special for you for your business. And then you'll order those typically through Canva. Or you can go anywhere you want and get a business card. You can go somewhere online, or your brother's a printer, or whatever. So, but there are options on the toolbox. Okay, signs is next. Have also a few options for signs. The first is a generic Silver Creek sign panel. I do not have that pictured. This is a custom sign, but it is a blue 18 by 24 inch sign, hangs on one of the tall arms like you see pictured here, or in like a ground frame. You can purchase those from Silver Creek. They're $35. It's, yes, blue Silver Creek logo, for sale, and the brokerage phone number. If you use the brokerage sign, you'll want to get a rider made with your name and phone number to tack on top, kind of like you see here, but it would be your name and phone number. So that's option one. You can buy those in Meridian or at our outlying regional offices like Idaho Falls. Next is a custom sign. So back to your branding. So if you've created your own brand and you want to make a sign that's more reflective of you and your brand, awesome. We can do all the graphic design for you on that for no cost. And then you will send that file to a sign company and they will produce that sign. That's what you see here. Carlo created this custom sign for his business. And I kind of like the black and white. I think it looks good. The third option is if you are on a team. Are any of you on a team? Okay, which team are you on? Okay, fantastic. Yes. So, oh yes, that's right. The face and the name just came together. Thank you. Oh my gosh. If you are on a team, they may provide signs for you, in which case you will use those signs. So, any questions about these? Okay, fabulous. All right, back to the free graphic design. I've kind of mentioned it here and there. You have access to free graphic design at Silver Creek, which is phenomenal because A, sometimes it's hard to find a good graphic designer, and B, it can cost a lot. So what can you use our service for? Logo design is one. We talked about that. Sign design. Anything you need to print, like you want to send out a postcard or you have flyers you want to print, they can do the design on all of that. Video editing we can do for you for free. And they can make social media posts as well. So anyway, lots of good options there. I'll show you today on the toolbox where to find that. All right, that was marketing. How are we doing?
When you say they can do social media posts for you, could you
Yes.
tell us a little more about what that means?
Yep, so social media posting, if you had like maybe a new listing and you wanted to put together a graphic to post onto your social media, you can send this through our design portal and just tell them what you need, what you're looking for, and they'll shoot it back to you. You'll oftentimes, for something like that, like if it was a listing or an open house, you would need to upload the photos so that they have access. But if it's already on the market, they can grab the photos online if you give them the MLS number, which is nice. So, yeah. The portal, the graphic design portal, it has a little bit of a turnaround time. 1 business day to 5, 7, big scale video editing, kind of starts pushing out on time, but on social media posts and flyers, it's usually 1, 2, 3 days. So plan ahead a little bit, but it's great. All right, we're gonna wrap up this section with just some general info, a couple quick things we haven't gone through yet, and then we'll dive into the toolbox for a few minutes, okay? Okay, so we have our policy and procedure manual. This is like the Silver Creek Bible. It's how and what of all the things. This is available to you on the Silver Creek Toolbox. You can download it anytime. It is pretty comprehensive. That's code language for long, but it's very graphic heavy so that it visually kind of breaks up a little bit. I'm going to review some high points of that. And we have already, everything we've gone through already is in the policy and procedures manual. So first is brokerage communication. So a priority for us is to stay in touch with you guys. And we have a number of ways we do that. Of course, we all have phones and email accounts, right? And we're available. We will also send you an email every Monday. It comes from Krista. If you are not getting the Monday email, please call me. Let's figure out what's going on. 9 times out of 10, it will be in your spam or your promotions folder in your email account, but otherwise we may have a typo in your email or something. So this email is really key. It's where our primary communications are. So updates from Krista, training items. Hey guys, I'm seeing a lot of this out there. Reminders, upcoming events. Like in February, we have a big company-wide summit. And so that is in there, all kinds of stuff. So please peek at this email when you get it on Mondays. The next is we will do an occasional text message specifically for our company meetings or other big reminders. A text will go out probably Monday about 1099s. So we try to use texts somewhat sparingly. If you're in the training program, you'll get a few extra texts because we are trying to get you to come to the training classes to help you build your business. But yeah, other things once in a while too. Oh, I need to update the slide, I see. Our sales meetings. Disregard this because we just changed literally, like our next sales meeting is the first of our new sales meeting format. So once a month, on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, we have a company-wide sales meeting. It is on Zoom. It is not, there's no in-person option. It's all on Zoom. We'll have some brokerage announcements. We'll have a speaker, education piece. And it's a good time to just connect brokerage-wide. Once a month, we have an in-person sales meeting locally. That is the first Tuesday of every month right here in this room in Meridian. Our other regions, they have a different schedule of when they have their meetings, but they're, all of those are on the Silver Creek calendar, so you can check that out. So, and then
So what changed?
we used to have 2 sales meetings a month. They were in person here in Meridian, and they were live streamed. And we've changed format, so moving to Zoom and for the 1 meeting only. And then,
but it's still 10 to 11.
Yes. And I think I put 11:15 on there just because sometimes it goes over a little. But the Treasure Valley sales meeting on the first Tuesday is in person only. That's a big change because it's been in person and live stream. But then what happens is the agents are sad because you don't know anybody and you haven't made connections and you don't have a community and you feel like you're on an island. But then they don't come in because it's so easy to watch remotely. I'm guilty. I'm totally guilty. So I'm trying to strong arm a little bit to get people to make friends. You'll thank me later, I guess. Yeah.
Where do you have it? There must
Right here.
be, but if you have it in person, aren't there hundreds of agents?
Not that will come.
Okay.
We'll see. The first one is in February. I mean, we literally just made this change at the new year.
Okay.
So if it becomes too large to accommodate, we'll move to the hotel next door. So, but for now, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. The last thing is we have Facebook groups set up for all of our different regions where you can connect with agents at the brokerage. Excellent resource. The Treasure Valley Forum is our largest. You guys are here, so that obviously makes sense for you to join. You're welcome to join any forum that we have. We have Idaho Falls, Magic Valley, Pocatello, North Central Idaho, North Idaho, all of them, Montana, etc. The Treasure Valley Forum has value for everyone because there's a lot of conversations in there. Hey, how would you guys handle this? Hey, what about this? But it is, if you're looking for local recommendations, that's where you want to go to. Like, do you have a plumber who services Notice or, whatever it might be. So you can find a link to all of these on the toolbox. You'll hear me say that, 800 times. Oh, that's on the toolbox, yes. we have a number of offices throughout our areas that we serve. We have 4 here in the Treasure Valley, with 1 more opening in 2 weeks in Emmett. We're excited about that. Boise, Meridian, Nampa, and Eagle. You have access to all of these offices 24 hours a day. While you 4 that are here in person are here, get a key fob at the front desk. That gets you into the buildings after hours. And Boise is often locked, just in general, and so you'll need your key fob to get in. We have printers, drop-in agent workspace, conference rooms, etc., that you can utilize. So, and then same with our offices: Idaho Falls, Twin Falls, Pocatello, Lewiston, Coeur d'Alene, and Hayden. So anyway, yeah, good stuff. Wi-Fi password. This is the Wi-Fi password for all of our offices, except for Post Falls in North Idaho. I think I said Hayden. It's not Hayden, it's Post Falls. Okay. All right, mail and packages. So yes, we do receive mail at our offices. No, we don't manage mail for agents at our offices. That is a lot of mail. So if you do receive something at the office, we will stick it in your folder. We will not notify you. So check your folder when you're in. If you're Treasure Valley, everyone has agent folders in Meridian, but other offices, that'll be the case too. If you receive a package, like a gift delivery, like one of our agents had flowers delivered a couple days ago, we will notify you of those. Hey, you've got a package. Sometimes you'll get brownies from a lender or something like that. If you're planning to do mailers, please get a P.O. box or use a personal address so that you can manage your mail and your campaigns, because we can't unfortunately do it for you. So, all right. Joining a team. I do have one of those today here. I might have a question online. Oh, no, that was just George. Okay. We have some great teams at Silver Creek. A team can be a good option for agents for a variety of different reasons. Some teams provide leads, some have, just more like agent-to-agent collaboration. If you find that a team would be a good fit for you, we can always make recommendations for your team. A couple of tips if you join a team. The first is make sure you have an agreement with your team in writing, because we are not involved in your relationship with a team. So whatever you agree to with the team is between you and the team. So you want to address things like commission split. How much of your commission are you paying the team? What are they providing? What happens if you leave the team? Are there any penalties? What happens to leads or contracts if you leave a team? Make sure you've got all of that dialed in so there's no surprises later. If there's an issue or a dispute, which they're not frequent, but once in a while this can happen, you'll come to me. I've had several, I guess, tearful conversations over the years, with some confusion. And most of the time it's because there was no written agreement. And so the written agreement just protects everybody. We will refer you back to your written agreement at the brokerage level. We also want to support you and, make sure things resolve well if you're in a situation like this. We cannot mediate on your behalf though. So just good to know. If you're on a team and you're issued a team email account, I would highly recommend you set up an auto, like a copy of all of your emails to go to your personal account, because if you ever leave the team, you'll lose your email account. And like we talked about earlier, it's very painful when you're all suddenly don't have access to anything. And a lot of agents are like, oh, they won't cut off my email. They will. So there you go. Any questions? I didn't share all of that to scare you away from a team. There are really great teams, and 99% of team experiences are positive. So, all right, we have a harassment and discrimination class that we would ask that you all watch. It's kind of a complicated world, and staying up to date on guidelines and laws related to harassment and discrimination will protect you, your clients, and the brokerage. I'll show you where to find that when we go to the toolbox. Scams and fraud, they're alive and well. Krista just talked about wire fraud in her email on Monday, video email. Please be conscientious of scams. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. If it feels weird, it probably is. If you're uncertain, you can always call and talk through a situation with us. If they're asking you to communicate on WhatsApp, it's probably a scam. That just as a general rule. I don't know that I've heard one WhatsApp situation that was actually a legitimate lead. So be aware. A scam we fall victim to is we will have people impersonate Krista, George, Aaron, Roger, and they will text you and say, hey, Len, this is Krista Deacon. Can you help me with something? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'll do anything for you, master. And then the text will ask you to go to the grocery store and purchase 10 iTunes gift cards because she is much too busy to buy gift cards because she's in meetings all day. And you go and purchase them. And she says, perfect, can you shoot me the codes for those? And voila, your money is gone. So here's what it is. We're never going to ask you to run errands for us. That's all. We have a staff of 25. We've got it under control. We're good. You do not need to notify us if you receive a text like that. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. There's no one to report it to. And what happens is if you got the text, 500 other agents got it, and you all call us all day. And then we're pulling our hair out because there's nothing we can do. So just disregard. You'll see people post in the agent forum like, oh, scammers are at it again, and they'll post a screenshot. So we laugh and move on. But also don't fall victim to that. Like, we're not going to ask you to do something like that. All right, we're wrapping up this section, profit sharing. We've got a great profit sharing program at Silver Creek. If you refer an agent to Silver Creek who joins us, every time they have a closing with the full transaction fee, we will give you $100 of our profit as a thank you for helping us build our agent community. And so we have a place on the toolbox where you can, connect someone, or you can call the person who onboarded you, Megan, Jessica, whoever it might have been, Paul. All right. Any questions on any of that? I know it's a lot, and we're not done yet. The key takeaway, honestly, you guys, like if you leave today and your brain is mush, which it might be, that's okay. Starbucks is just around the corner. Highly recommend. The key takeaway is we're here for you and we want you to call. So you're not a bother to us. Like this is, kind of helping level out some of like, how does it work here? But ultimately, if you're stuck or confused, just call, text, email. We are here for you. Okay, Silver Creek Toolbox. How many of you have been to the Toolbox? Okay, most. Toolbox.silvercreekrealty.net. You log in using typically the first initial of your first name followed by your last name. If you have a common combo, it might be your full first name and your full last name, if there's already a K. Cole, right? Your password is the last 6 of your social. You can change this later if you'd like. This is your username and password for the Toolbox and for SC Office. It's the same. The only one it's different for is the ePay account. Because remember, that's the one that we can't touch. And so you set up your own username and password for that. You can set it to this if you want it to be the same for all the Silver Creek things, but that's up to you. Okay, so once you log in, as overwhelmed as you are right now with everything we've talked about, it is equal when you log into the Toolbox and you're like, wow, there's a lot in here. Where do I even start? Well, we start by logging in. And I'm just going to give you some tips to help you navigate. I'm not going to go through everything in the Toolbox with you today. It is altogether too much. I am going to show you where to find a training video for it, though. Okay. If you're going to remember anything about the Toolbox, so anything about the first part was just call, text, email. Anything about the Toolbox is just search. So this little white bar is the search bar. I need business cards. okay. Scroll down, here's your links for business cards. Much, much easier to navigate than trying to scan through, right? The best thing about Silver Creek is everything we offer. Also, like, then you get in here and you're like, I don't know where to start. A couple things we talked about today. What are some things that I could look up? Anything you want me to find? Marketing. So marketing is going to pull up quite a bit. Some key items, but there's also marketing tools. We have a whole separate page for marketing tools. Let's see, something else.
Commissions.
Okay, commissions. You've got your 1099 year-to-date info. How much commission have you made this year? The real estate commission, Doppel, SC office, policies and procedures, how-to, and Silver Creek listings. I talked earlier about that harassment class. Here it is, harassment, policies and procedures, we talk about it, and then on the agent orientation playlist. And I'm just gonna go to that right now, since I promised to show you. Everything that we've gone through today, I have a video on, so you can reference back to it anytime. And the harassment video is down here towards the bottom. Okay, ready for your next piece of homework? Okay, you on the silvercreekrealty.net site, this is our main Silver Creek website, and this we get about 60,000 hits a month. We have a profile page for every agent at the brokerage. It is blank until you click on Update Agent Profile page and give us your info, headshot and bio. If you don't have a headshot yet, that's okay. You can still update your bio, and then when you have your headshot, you can upload that. So that's under your agent account. We also talked about policies and procedures. If you wanted to review that, you can search policies. It pops up. Hopefully that is a help to you, just to search. The email that we send out every Monday, we have a full gallery list of all of our emails that we have sent out for, gosh, months and months, since May is when we integrated this page. So if you didn't get the email or you want to look back at what we've sent, you've got history on that. Oh, the education calendar. I want to make sure to hit on that before and we'll do education calendar and marketing tools, and then we'll take a break, okay? We have a ton of education at Silver Creek. CE, general education. If you're newly licensed, we have a training class every Thursday at 10, followed by open coaching. Anyone's invited to attend. You don't have to be brand new. They're designed kind of more like foundational real estate things. Our next Thursday's class is scripts. Like, well, how do I say that to a potential client? I don't know, I'm scared, right? And then coaching after that. There's a lot on here. What I want to show you here is this view all categories. You can filter through the different things that are available. So if you're like, I just want to see the CE that's available, great, here's the CE. Or knowing that we practice in multiple regions, I just want to see Treasure Valley classes, great, here you go. So yeah, tune into this. 99% of our education is free for you, which is great. Yeah.
Do the CE classes count toward the IRIC CE requirements?
Yes, they do. Yep, so any of them, if you choose CE, there are all these TAN classes. You'll see, it'll say on the title, like the class that was this morning, did you know answers, sorry, I'm just seeing there was a typo there, to top 35 lending questions, Joe Petit, 1 Idaho CE. And then we've got Core 2024, Core 2023 next month. Let's see. Every month we have both core classes, 23 and 24, and they alternate Zoom and in person. So you can do them from home on your computer via Zoom, or you can come into the classroom. Just note at the end of the title where it's taking place, because they're not all here in the Meridian classroom. They might be at the Twin Falls office, or they might be on Zoom, or, what have you. So just double check. See, this one is at the Cove in Post Falls. That's our office up there. So just double check that you're not registering for something in Idaho Falls unless you're looking for a day trip. In which case, sounds like expensive CE, but okay.
And CE, they have requirements for, like you're required to take the core. And
Yes.
then you get some electives. So
Yep. So Len, for you specifically, or anyone who's like not newly licensed, you need both years of core, 2 years of core that you've never taken before, and 12 elective hours. And so we've got a ton of electives. We also have the core classes. Those of you that are newly licensed, different. You have to take both years of core. So right now, 23 and 24, a class called Post-License Fundamentals, and then an elective. There's technically 3 options, but there's actually only one that's like readily available, and it's Post-License Pricing, Marketing, and Advertising. So yes, you can come and take Docs and Details with Krista. You can come and take How to Pre-Qual Your Buyer, all these elective classes. Awesome. It is not going to help you with your first renewal on your CE. Did they drill this in real estate school? Yeah. We continue to drill it in. The number of agents, you guys, like the month of renewal, and they're like, I just want to verify my CE. And I'm like, okay, these are the classes you need. Wait, what? So yes, we don't want you to like have panic mode when your license renews.
So when we come and take those classes, do you give us something that we then load up into the website? Or how does that,
We handle your reporting of your CE for you. So you will sign in, and then we keep your sign-in sheet, and then whoever's providing for it, sometimes it's me, and we work a lot with Fidelity National Title, who handles a lot of that for us, and Pioneer Title. But we will take that list and then we upload it into the Doppel website, and then it connects to your account. So, but you'll have a certificate as well, so that if there was a discrepancy in the future, you could be like, no, I have my certificate. See, I took it. Proof. So, yeah. Yes.
you may have said this, but all of those CE courses are uploaded on the calendar currently.
Yes, I have 6 CE classes in my inbox right now that need to be added. That will hopefully be added by Monday. So we just have a lot of CE offerings. It's great. And it's all free for you guys. And it's open. If you have an agent friend at another brokerage, they're more than welcome to attend. We don't charge for it. So, yeah. Oh, my time's up. No, we didn't go over much at all. Other questions? Anything that I can help you guys with or be a resource on?
So those CE classes that are offered for free, they will check the box and requirements for brand new agents.
The CE classes that will check the requirement for brand new agents are Core 2023 and Core 2024. I don't have the 2 post-license classes at the brokerage. The best place to take those is on the CE shop. There is a link on the toolbox. Are you guys surprised to hear me say that? The CE shop, we get a discount code through them. So if you search CE, oh my goodness, I don't like that. There we go, CE class. Don't search CE because CE is like in a whole bunch of other words as a standard alphabet. Calendar, the CE shop is online on-demand CE. This is like me doing CE on my cell phone while I'm sitting on my couch with a cup of tea. So you can start and stop, like you can do 20 minutes and then work on it tomorrow, and yeah.
It's not a line type class.
No.
You have to read through it.
You do, yeah. So you've got both options.
And is CE required every 2 years?
Yes. If you are brand new, you will not have 2 full years. You will have approximately 2 years, depending on what month your birthday is. If you're curious, you can see your expiration date in your Doppel account. Yeah, great questions. I am
And
always...
it'll probably change, because right now it's still showing month end.
Yeah, the state of Idaho passed legislation last year to change expiration dates to your actual birthday. So people, real estate agents whose birthday is August 5th, their expiration date was always August 31st. And whenever they decide to change it and implement, it'll now be August 5th.
And then
So
just plan on doing it by your birthday.
just don't wait until your birthday month, please. It's like part of my job is I email, your license is expiring this month, and there's always 10 like the day before renewal, like, wait, what CE do I need?
Yeah, and you're also going to need code of ethics, well.
And fair housing.
And fair housing now,
Yeah.
that's gonna be every 3 years.
Yep.
For the association.
U3 likely, U2, I'm guessing maybe not for you because they didn't implement fair housing until January 1. You guys might have been required to take it when you joined the association, or if you haven't joined, they'll probably make you take it right
I
away.
think I got emails about that.
Yeah, it's a requirement for,
Emails kind of
I know, there's so many emails. And in the beginning, you're getting a lot of emails because you're getting set up with everybody. But then the other people, they get your email, like not from us, but from the web source. And then you just get so many.
And I wish we could be, we could all get funneled through us and we filter out things you do and don't need, but unfortunately.
Yeah.
we do that.
Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure to teach you today. We're here for questions. Don't forget to get a key fob while you're here today. Take a quick 5-minute break. Is that okay, roughly? There's restrooms in the lobby here. Behind us is a kitchen with coffee and water. And then George will take over. He'll entertain you for the next little while. Hey, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right at the front desk.
Oh, no, not at all.
He's making his face like that.
You moving?
Just slightly.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
good agent though, so
Okay. No, I meant from there to
I gotta plug in my
oh,
my computer. I was
the plug right there,
there.
right in front of you.
Oh, I missed it. Thank you.
It's right here. I mean, you can still move, but it's right here.
No, I like my spot. So thank you.
Okay, close this. Need that. Close this. Getting some fresh air for us. It's kind of getting dreary out.
No.
I gave it a little light. Oh, is it supposed to rain? I thought it was supposed to be like nice. I sit in a dark room all the time, so any daylight is exciting.
You gotta get some vitamins.
Yeah.
So you do all the technology, you're in charge of like all the technology. Are you a real estate agent too?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll give you my background and all that.
Oh, you found
He
one.
graciously pointed it out to me.
Yeah, plugs we have. Could have moved up and there's a multi-plug there too. You'd be right here. You'd be right in front.
I almost had in front. I'm usually a front row type of person.
So, just got started. How you is you?
Well, my husband and I bought a rental property last year. It actually just closed in November, and last April we were our tax account process. We told them that we're going to instead one of us should get our real estate license because it would help tremendously for taxes.
What a smart tip.
Yes.
So you volunteered.
So I volunteered. Sometimes it's a regular day job, and then just drive kids around. Yeah.
Is that everybody?
Here I am. Yeah. So I don't know how.
Okay, we ready? Get you through this. I'm George Pafundi. I'm Silver Creek CIO. I am, as we were talking, I am a licensed real estate agent, have been since 2001. I was a builder before that for about 22 years. General contractor, I actually worked all over the country. Started up a couple mortgage companies. I've been here since day one, and you know, as the story goes, I actually had a building company and a real estate company, sold that, and then that company became Silver Creek ultimately, you know, when it was founded. So I've been here since day one. My job here is kind of to help all the different departments communicate and, you know, come up with systems and methods for running the company basically. And then on the agent side, the public facing side, create all the systems for you guys to be able to upload documents and the toolbox and just all the websites and those types of things. And then hopefully help you guys have better real estate lives. So that's my role here. What we're going to do today, we're going to talk about, and I should tell you, that no matter what you guys run into in the business, I probably messed it up a couple times. So that's the experience I bring with me, and hopefully that, you know, we build these systems so that you don't run into as many problems. So, you know, that's the goal. So today we're going to do two things. I won't make you do calisthenics or anything like that, but I did think about that. But we're going to go through SC Office, which is our document management portal. You've been an agent before. Where were you at before?
Majestic, Idaho,
Okay.
which is Ed Sperry, maybe you know it.
I know the name.
And before Majestic, Equity.
Equity. Okay. So I'm not sure what they use for their document management. Everybody has something, but a lot of the smaller brokerages are just using Transaction Desk or Instinet or, you know, or one of those things. Some have some dedicated services. Some have signed on for, I can't even think of some of them right now, but there's a bunch of them out there. We chose to build our own. And I have this innate thing about me where I don't like us paying for systems, paying other people for our systems if we can avoid it. We have our own servers, we do our own development, or we have some outside companies who we work with that help us. We do all the things so that no matter what goes on in the market, we tend to own our software and own our method of doing things. So if the market fluctuates and does this, that's fine. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. We don't pay for services based on numbers of agents or numbers of transactions or any of those types of things either. So that's really kept us in a good position as the market did fluctuate a bit, and we've been able to continue to grow. So that's a big part of, I guess, my role is designing those infrastructures and whatnot and kind of the architecture for how we work. So back to what we're going to go over. The SC Office, the whole idea here is it's just a communication tool, ultimately, as far as you guys are concerned. The goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to turn in documents as required by the state. And I should say the state, we're now in 3 states, they all require it. You have to supervise agents. And really so that we can communicate back with you. I'm old enough that I remember doing agreements, all of our purchase and sale agreements and whatnot, and doing those in triplicate using, carbon paper and doing that. Yeah, I'm that old. And then I remember when fax came out. So I was young, for the record, but I do remember. In the beginning, we do all the manual things. We still have to turn them into the office. Sorry, I'm blocking you. What we found was, people didn't always come to the office to turn in their stuff. Actually, in the very beginning, they did, because the only way to look up listings was to go to the office. We had a big book. We'd get a copy of it every month or two, and people could page through it when you were looking for a property. That's the old way of doing it. So, but after that, people sometimes didn't turn in all their paperwork, and of course, enforcement was a little bit different back then too. Then we went to email, and keep in mind we had hard copies, so that if we got an audit and they came in, the Real Estate Commission would come in and take a look at all your files and make sure all the paperwork was there and T's were crossed and I's were dotted. Then we went to email, and sounds like a great idea, but email is a broadcast method of communication. And I should apologize for 2 things now. One, I am an electrical engineer, so apologies if I get too into minutia. I'll try not to. I'm also from New York originally, so sometimes I just start going real fast. It's been years since I've been there. So love it in Idaho, been here since '99. So, what would happen is agents would email their things in, and it gets sent, and hopefully we received it. And vice versa, we would look at a file and we would see, oh, they're missing an initial on page 2 of the RE21. We would send that out to the agent, and hopefully they would get the message, right? Well, hopefully isn't very good when you're getting audited. That's how fines happen. So we wanted to avoid that. Ultimately, agents get fined. The brokerage doesn't always get fined. So you are really vested in making sure that your information gets turned in properly so that it can go into the final file and make sure that it's good during our audits. We do very well during audits, and we want to keep that going too, which is our motivation. So that said, email. Email, like I said, is a broadcast method of communication. And one thing I like to throw out there, especially because we have some new, you said quasi-new. Coming back into it. Right. Okay. So you would know this, you probably know this too. You have a contract, and you do an inspection, you're representing the buyer. You do an inspection, and there's this big issue, whatever it is, and you have right to terminate. Well, if you send in your paperwork to terminate the contract, and you email it to the seller's agent, is that enough? No. You have to get the signatures back, right? So just sending things, it's not a legal form of communication. Oddly enough, fax is, but email's not. And I like to compare it to, I'm doing smoke signals. and you're on another hill, and you're looking, you see my smoke signal. Great, you can read my smoke signal and hope that means you're going to rally the troops or whatever. The flip side is the wind's blowing and I'm sending smoke signals and it's just disappearing. Or maybe you don't read smoke signal, right? So that's what email is. And so make sure you're always getting your documents to the end user and you're getting confirmation. In the tech world, we call that a handshake back. With our system though, what we found was that, like I said, you were turning things in, or agents were turning things in, and sometimes we wouldn't get it, or sometimes we'd get a check from title, and we love checks, and we'd be great, who gets the commission on this? No information, no file, no nothing. Check with the agent swears they turned it in. I did a lot of testing at the time, and I found out that Gmail tends to block Gmail. Go figure. That was back then. Now it blocks everything. So not just Gmail. So we needed another more positive method of communication. So that's when we came up, we said, well, let's do a website. That's the interface as far as you guys are concerned, but we'll do a website and you will turn your documents in through the website. You know that when it changes to yellow, in this case, is what you'll see, it's been uploaded. So pretty straightforward, clicky. So we came up with SC Office. And you'll note that this is HTTP instead of HTTPS. If you just put scoffice.net in the top of your browser, it should redirect you right to the site. The actual site is agents.silvercreekdocs.net/login or authenticate / blah, blah, blah. It's this long thing. So this is just a shortcut name. That's why it doesn't have an HTTPS. S is secure. So if you go to your bank, your email, any of those things should have an S. And the final site does have an S. That's just a shortcut name. So if you go there, it's going to bring up the site. You're going to log in. Typically, it's the first letter of your first name, then your last name, and then the last 6 of your social. David Copperfield's my test agent, so because this is all magic. It's actually from the book, but yes, I'm geeky. When you put that in, some of you, if you're like a Mike Smith or something like that, M. Smith, Michelle Smith, whatever, it's probably already taken. In that case, we would have reached out to you with your proper login. Has everybody logged into the toolbox yet? Okay, then we're good. Okay, I always like to leave it in. This is actually from one of the old auditors, but the law sets up a brokerage to serve as a repository for transaction documents. This includes all transaction documents, not just those that become a contract. So it's not going to be so much an issue with people who are newly licensed. You're probably the only one who falls into this. But in the past, or what we found is that some people coming over, especially from smaller brokerages, they would kind of turn a blind eye to not receiving all the documents. So right in the past, a few years ago, you would list a property and, I don't know, in 10 minutes, you'd have 10 offers. It was crazy. 20 offers over the weekend. All 20 of those purchase and sale agreements have to be turned in. That's what the law stipulates. And then they've changed how we go about accepting and whatnot. We'll talk about that in a bit. But all documents have to be turned in. We make it very simple to turn it in, okay? But they were getting in a lot of trouble because they weren't requiring people to turn in all their documents. They were saying, well, just turn in the stuff that's been accepted, and that's not okay. That is definitely going to get the agents fined, and we don't want to see that happen. So once you go in, it's going to look something like this. By the way, it's a website, but it works on your phone, it works on your tablets, it works on your, The only thing I've struggled with is Chromebook. Anybody have a Chromebook? Good. Yeah, they're just really not great for business. Works on Mac and PC and all that. I will say with Mac, avoid Safari. Use Chrome, use Firefox, use Edge, or what do you use?
Edge.
Yeah, great. Yeah. There's something with Safari, they try to make things go faster. And so they're caching more things, and a lot of real estate, I'm sure it's not just real estate sites, but the real estate community talks, and it's a lot of real estate sites people have problems with Safari. So I just say, just don't use it. You don't have a choice if you're on a tablet or an iPhone, iPad. No matter what you use, Chrome, Edge, whatever, you're still actually using Safari. but we don't seem to have as many problems on those devices. So that said, it's going to look like this. This whole section here is how you're going to be creating your files. This section is your list of files. And then here's some little shortcuts that we'll go through. But for the most part, you're not going to use these a whole lot. It's really going to be this and this. Okay. And then we have a bunch of things we're going to go over up at the top. You'll notice that these are all color coded. And out of all my years of kindergarten, the one thing I'd learned was red light, green light. Okay. So I take that experience and that's what I applied to this. So red means stop. Look at your file. Something's going on. Now, I know we said that we're not big on email, but actually whenever we put a comment on the back end of this system, which is called M-Files, whenever we do something in there and it does an assignment and it will email you, it's just whether or not you'll receive it or not. That's the nervous part. But if you come in here and we did an email, it will be read. You will know there's an assignment. Same thing on the documents. The specific document will be read. So if we see that you're missing an initial on page 2 of an RE21, we're going to comment on the RE21. It's going to email you, and it's going to change the document to red and then the whole file to red. The other thing that can happen is, say you're missing a document. We notice it's a pre-1978 transaction, so it requires a lead-based paint disclosure, okay? We notice that. We don't have a document to comment on, so we comment on the whole file and say, hey, we notice this is pre-1978 and needs a lead-based paint. When you get that, please turn it in. So the file will turn red, but there's no document associated with it yet, okay? By the way, this whole thing's meant to be super, super simple. We don't tie it into the MLS. We don't tie it into other systems as little as possible. So if there's corruption on the MLS, and trust me, it happens constantly, be it Instanet or Form Simplicity, or I think we're going to change at some point. I don't know. They're talking about it. So as soon as you're done learning all the how to do things, they're going to change it on you. Just, you know. So we don't tie into those things. So green, that means everything's good as far as we know. And by that, I basically mean if you turn in a transaction and paperwork and whatnot, we've reviewed all those things. But if you had an addendum or some kind of amendment or something like that, and you didn't turn it in, we can't review it. We don't know about it. So it would still be green until you turn it in and we can take a look at it. So please turn everything in. We have a whole staff. We review between 3,000 and 10,000 documents a week. And they tend to get them back same day or next day to you. So turn them in. We want to review everything. That's what we do. We have people who specialize in lots and building contracts and you know, commercial, you know, whatever it is. We have people who specialize in each. Further down, we have, I'm going to go to the yellow. So when you first create your transaction, it's going to change to yellow. And we're going to do a live version of this, so you'll get to see it. But when you first create a transaction, it turns yellow. And that's just to confirm that, hey, it's been created. You'll see it on your side. And then orange, this is based on the estimated closing date. There's a spot on there where you can put it. If we see it, we'll put it. But that means you're within a week of closing. So that's our reminder to you. Hey, it's getting ready to close. It's going to email you. When you come in here, you're going to see it. You're going to be like, great, money's coming finally. Yay. You know. But it's also a reminder, do you have your papers in order? Because we don't want to hold anything up. You know, we want to make sure everything's nice and clean and ready to go. So a big one on that I would be looking at, if I see it turned orange, and I'm like, awesome, I'm getting ready for closing. And then I think about it, I'm like, oh, crud, it's not going to close on that date. It needs to extend 2 weeks, you know, whatever. You need to get paperwork in to extend that date. So, you know, make sure you get those things in. The other thing to keep in mind is that estimated closing date, you might put it in as whatever the contract calls for. I don't know, March 15th, we'll say. Well, let's go better. January 31st is what you have on there. And the reality is everybody's happy. It's going great. It's ready to close. And everybody wants to close early. Well, if you don't let us know that it's going to close early, then the brokers and the team doesn't kind of do that preliminary stuff. It just slows it up a little bit. And so if you can try to update that date and let us know it's closing early. That makes it easier for us to be on top of things. It's not really going to hold you up unless there's a problem, like some really complicated file. We're pretty quick, but still, the more communication we can have, the better. Okay, so these right here, it's really broken into 2 columns. One's for a buyer file, one's for seller or a listing file, okay? So if we were creating a buyer file, like we're making an offer on a property, just an existing property, we'll click existing property, okay? There's a little stuff that's going on in the background, but you don't get to see it. It just takes you, and it has a form that comes up, and I'll show you that in a second, that you'll fill out and, you know, to the best of your ability. Our forms, again, are about communication. It's not about legal descriptions and things like that. There are parts in there that will help us all figure things out, but we keep it very, very simple. Very few fields are required, but the more you do, the better. Same thing on this column. You know, if it's an existing property, it's just you're getting a listing on a 20-year-old house in a neighborhood, you just say existing property. You click that, okay? Once you click it, it's going to bring up a form. Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Sorry. We're going to talk about these for just a moment. We'll get back to this. So this section right here, we have action required, active property, search M files, paid reason, dead reason, and buyer docs pre-offer. So action required, if you click that, it's going to bring up a page. And it's going to show you all the transactions that have any red on them. Something with the file is red or document is red. So you'd see a big list here, and then you'd see whatever the latest comment is, you know, missing initial on page 2 of an RE21 or whatever. There's also another column here. Are any of you joining a team or working with a transaction coordinator? You are? What team? Okay, Will. I think you turn your stuff into Will, and then they will turn it into here. But just so you know, you are the agent, right? So you're the one who's responsible for your files, so do get used to coming in here, okay? That said, there's another column so that a team or a transaction coordinator, if you're working with one, and you can turn the documents in and then pick them from a list, or vice versa. You can turn it into that person or team, and they would turn it in and pick you as the agent. The picking those columns, it's really just who gets to see the file. That's all it really is, okay? But they can see the name of the agent right here, so that makes their lives easier for sorting and helping people. Next, we have the active properties. That's this list. This would be the same list as on the main page. The only difference is it has what the latest comment was, and then right here, it would have the name of the agent. So again, these aren't likely to be used by you guys, these particular things. It's really more for teams and TCs. Down here, we have the paid recent and the dead recent, and that's the last 6 months. So if it's anything that's happened in the last 6 months, you closed on a file or it fell through or whatever, it'll be in there. If it's beyond that, you're going to log into search M files. M files is, we never, even if an agent leaves us, we always give them access. Same thing to this, nobody ever gets cut out of it. We kind of keep the doors open for people, and I think it's 68% of the agents roughly return that leave. Sometimes you have opportunities elsewhere and all that. We don't burn bridges. We keep the relationships going. That said, because of security reasons, that M files, you have to be connected to one of our offices. So you just have to come into an office, be on the Wi-Fi, and then you can connect to it. But you can search everything you've ever done with us. So 8 years from now, you'll be able to go into M files and look at any of your properties and how many did you do with this agent from this other brokerage. Maybe you want to try to recruit them, or who knows. Or you're relisting a property 5 years down the road and you want to look at what all the details you had on it at that point. And then let's see, other than that, that's really it. The buyer doc pre-offer, that also exists on the main page, and those are really for when you have it's right here, you have a buyer, and now we have all these initial documents we have to do now before showing them properties, and we have a buyer rep agreement maybe. Technically, there's no offer made on a property, so there's no formal file, but I'm going to say it was like 2.5 years ago, they finally said, oh yeah, we want all those in the files, even though there's no contract on them. So those have to be turned in as well. But it's, again, pretty easy. All you're going to do is click the button. It's going to bring up this form right here. It's going to automatically have your name at the top. If you have a co-agent, you'll put that in. And I know these are small. We're going to do a bigger version of this. And of course, you have the handout, but sorry about that. Further down the page, here's that transaction coordinator or team. It's a pull down. This section actually is going to be hidden now. I probably need to take it off here. As we go down the page, you're going to see next section down here, we're going to see property address. So 123 North Main Street, real simple, right? But if you don't have an address and you have a lot in a block, maybe it's just purchasing lots. Lot 2, Block 3, and Havishire Estates. That's right, I have Havishires. So little rat things that run around my house. What if you don't have a lot and block or an address? It's a parcel of land on Highway 55 outside of Donnelly. Well, that's fine too. Just put in here TBD Highway 55 Donnelly. This is just the reference so that when you call in the office and say, hey, Krista or Kristen or Aaron or Amy, you're working with Amy, if you can look at this file, oh, what file is it? You know, TBD Highway 55. That's all it's about. It's giving it a name. When it gets a formal address, you're going to turn in paperwork and we'll update it. So, further down the page, we have the buyer information. So first name, last name. So Mike Smith, easy. Mike and Mary Smith, that's great. It could be Mary and Mike Smith. My attitude is whoever's primary buyer, that's who goes first. But it doesn't really matter. If it's Mike Smith, Mary Johnson, and Sally Jesse Raphael, you could put it in, say, buyer entity name or the Smith Family Trust. It doesn't matter. These are just text fields. You can pretty much type whatever in there. It's just part of us giving it a name and when you call in and telling us what's going on. Buyer email, buyer phone number. We're not trying to collect your buyer's information. I mean, we care, but we are a non-compete type brokerage. We're not out there trying to elicit your buyers and sellers. But when you call in and you have a problem, or worse, you're taking a trip to Hawaii and you get that point where you can't make phone calls and everything else, and all of a sudden the world comes crashing down on your transaction, that gives us a way to deal with things. So, the same thing for the seller. Seller first name, last name, or whatever confabulation of that you want to use.
So if you make offers that aren't accepted, they go in here.
Yep, everything goes in. You know, then it can be reviewed, because what happens is you make an offer, not accepted, okay, and then someone gets grumpy about something. Maybe it's the seller or someone files a complaint with the real estate commission, and they come in and they want to see the file. Maybe they call us up, is typically what happens, and we don't have the information. Fine, you just got yourself a fine. You just don't want it. Law says that papers have to be turned in the next business day. Is basically what it says. So we are not going to horribly chase you. We're going to remind you, you know, if we figure that out. But yes, everything has to be turned in. This section here, co-op listing information. By the way, I was watching on Silver Creek TV, so I know she went over Silver Creek listings a little bit. Did she show you the site?
No.
I'll pull it up real quick. So Silver Creek listings. Listings.com. So what I recommend to people on how to use this, number one, if you upload into M-Files the information, and we'll go over that in a sec, then we'll know it'll automatically actually go onto the site on based on the dates and things like that you put on there. It'll go on the site. I'm just going to hit search. It'll take a moment because we're searching everything, but someone could do a search here just for the MLS ID, for the address, the town, you know, any of that kind of stuff. And then it's going to bring up the listing. Let me find something local to us. Let's go. We'll just go. We'll just go with something in Caldwell here. So they click on this, and we did it on a map because sometimes they want to look at other things in the area. And the public has access to this too, and other agents have access to this. But this is listed, the agents Joshua Burns and Kirk Hessing. Here's their phone number that they want to use. You get to pick one phone number. If I click on Joshua, or if your name was there, it would go to your page on silvercreekrealty.net. So that's the second thing we're going to talk about is some web presence. So we just, all we have really is his picture and contact information. You guys can put in your bio and I'll show you how you request that, okay? But that's the idea with Silver Creek Listings. It's just get you more exposure, number one. And number two, or really number two is more exposure. Number one, I'd say, is being able to put on there, it's a 2% broker commission. So that's what the buyer's agent would get. Or that's what they're offering up front. And yes, we can legally do that because it's our listing, our group listing. So we can advertise that however we want. We just can't do it through the association or through the MLS. So the net result is we have, right now it's down to 751. It'll start picking up again. But basically, you'll find that some agents out there, their sellers are like, well, I'll pay something, but I won't advertise it. You know, so you're gonna see that, and you probably have already seen that. But for new agents, you're gonna find that it is sometimes hard to get the information. You just keep moving forward. You make an offer, and you put the terms, payment, and all that in the offer, and the paperwork for that, and just keep on moving on. If they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. That's their choice, right? But this, hopefully, what I would do is I would just put silvercreeklistings.com. maybe on the bottom of my email, or if you're getting a ton of text, like if you just do a listing, and people are calling you, you can have an auto on your voicemail. Oh, and you know, hi, this is George with Silver Creek Realty Group, blah, 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 blah. And if you're calling about a listing, please feel free to go to silvercreeklistings.com, look up the listing, and you can see any broker co-ops there. You know, just, you get inundated sometimes when you first, especially when you first do the listing, you know, that's when new listing and everybody wants the information. That said, answer your phone and talk to people is an even better idea, but that's up to you how you want to do your business. But, you know, there are people who text and they don't want to talk, or maybe it's a possible customer and they want to go directly to the listing agent. You'll get that out there. And well, if you're the listing agent on it and they are doing text, because that's what half the public does now, they don't want to talk to you, put on your text an auto reply that says, oh, if you're texting me about one of my listings, you can see any buyer agent co-op on silvercreeklistings.com. So that's how I would use it, okay? Okay, back to presentation. There we go. So on this page, this is where you enter that information. And basically, this little checkbox right here, you check that box, and then you can add whatever information in here. Compensation for buyers agents in dollars or percent. It's one or the other. Listing, the list price, the listing status, it's active, it's, you know, whatever. Listing date, listing expiration date, and that does not go on the site, so no one's going to be milling through our site trying to find out when your expiration date is on your listings and then calling your seller to try to steal the deal, as it were. The MLS ID and the agent, your whatever number you want to be contacted at, you know, that's all it is. Keep in mind though, please fill in all the fields if you're doing this. If you miss one, it won't show up. So it's a very simple site. It does not auto update. I can't tell you how many times I get a phone call from people. Hey, my property's still shown on the website, or I changed the price, or I did this. It's not connected to the MLS. It has no way of getting that information unless you tell it. So if staff sees it, they'll update it. but I wouldn't count on that. I would make sure I go in here and change it.
So you need to create a new transaction for every offer you make.
On the buyer side, yes.
Yeah.
We keep it pretty simple to do it though, you know.
Yeah, not a lot of fields to fill in.
No, we'll go down a little bit further and you'll see all the complicated ones that we can skip. Further down the page, these are the rest of the fields. Earnest money collection, this is a pull down, it matches, you know, whatever you put on the RE forms. Check numbers, those types of things. Krista Deacon for your responsible broker or somebody else. Earnest money payable to, and again, we prefer closing company. Earnest money deposit information to be deposited upon acceptance or something like that. And then you tell your buyer to run over to XYZ title company and give them a check. That's an easy way to do it. That said, you're doing a listing, you don't have any of this information. You just jump to the bottom and you'll hit in the submit. Here's that estimated closing date. This field right here, commission special instructions. So if you're not going to be getting paid through title and you want to get paid through us, we're pretty quick. I mean, if we received the check today by 2 o'clock, we pay tomorrow. So, but we just don't do direct deposit from the office. I think that closing a title is really helpful when you're in the middle of nowhere. That'll really get your check faster. You guys that are here, I don't know if it's that big of a deal, but anyhow, totally up to you. I'd say it's about 50-50, just about. It was like 55%. We're getting it through the office and 45% we're getting it through title. So, but you have that option. If you have any special things that you need us to know about, like I'm going to be in Mexico for 4 weeks and it's going to close during that time, and my sister's going to come in and pick up my check or something like that, you have to put it in here. We have no way of, we're not going to give a check to anybody other than who you authorize, or maybe you want us to mail it to that location down in Mexico. You have some property down there and you're going to deposit it there. That's great. We're happy to do that. Just got to let us know what. Okay. And then you hit submit. When you do that, it's going to bring up this page, which apparently is even smaller for you to see. Sorry. All of these fields on the left, those are the fields from that last form. It's nothing new here. Okay. Up at the top, we have property comments. There's nothing in this particular one, but you could add a comment. So this is a two-way thing. So if you want to communicate with whoever's going to be reviewing your transactions, you can put it in there, and then they get an assignment. Basically, it turns red. It flags in on our side. And, whatever it is you needed, that's fine. We can do it that way, too. You can always call the office, but that gives you kind of a straight route. I think it's more helpful when someone comments on the file, oh, this needs a lead-based paint or something, and there's some weird exception for this rule, and you want to let us know, or you want to communicate that a certain document's going to be coming, you could do it there, and then when it comes in, that's great. Red doesn't mean we're angry, okay? And if you ever get a text, or not a text, but an email in all caps, or a comment in all caps, their caps key is stuck. They're not yelling. I say that because we have some prolific cap lockers. So, distribution authorization. This is the form that you're going to use if you're getting paid through title, okay? And we'll do a live version of this, but there's a copy on there, but I'm just going to go through it briefly. You can fill this out whenever you want. You just can't submit it until right before closing. So not less than 2 days, because we need 2 days to review it, not more than 5. So basically there's a 3-day window in there, okay? But you can fill it out ahead of time and have it ready to go. The reason we have those rules is easily 80% of the time, if it's more than 5 days, the dollars change. It's just, for one reason or another, something happens, something changes. If it's less than 2, that's just us being able to get it through. So when you submit this, it goes to the broker team. They review the files, make sure all your documents are right and that kind of stuff. And then it goes to accounting. And really, Renee does most of it right at the front desk here. She's going to review it. make sure all the dollars match up and, all that kind of stuff's right. If it's a minor change, like it's a $15 change of something that we noticed, we're just going to change it and send it on through. You get a copy and all that, but it's just going to go through. If it's a major change, they're going to reach out to you and let you know. I don't know why you have one, but maybe you forgot about some document on file or something like that. Escrow officer's information, name, phone number, email. It's going to send the information to your escrow officer, so we'll need to know who that is. You do have to have the estimated closing date in, because that's how we determine if you're got 2 days left or whatever. Who the mortgage company is, we need to know that information. Other than that, most of these it's really just what the total commission is in fees. So if it's $10,000, you'll put 10,000 there. It's not a percent type thing. The next one down is calculated. So ultimately those two numbers will have to match. Right here you have your name, dollars to agent, and dollars to brokerage. So on that $10,000, you would put, if you're doing $495 to the brokerage, you would put $9,505 to you, $495 to the brokerage on a standard deal. I know the new agents have a different split. But that's what you would put on there. On the name part, where, I wouldn't put George Pafundi there. I would put Professional Management Group. It's my company. So if you have a company, an LLC or something like that, that you want to be paid to, keep in mind this is going to the title company. So one, if you want to, you need to turn in your LLC and all that to us, and I'll show you how to do that. We know that information. So you don't have to fill this out if it's getting paid through us, but if it's going through title, they don't know that information. So you want to put the name of your company, not your name. There's a little ad agent. You can add up to 5 more agents. I don't recommend that. It gets crazy splitting things out, but you can do that. Commission credit to buyer, commission credit to seller. I heard Kristen said something about, when she was talking about this percents to the other agent. Obviously, anybody who's part of a transaction, who's named on the transaction, can receive funds on a transaction. So you actually can share your funds with the buyer or seller. I don't recommend it, but you can, okay? It kind of defeats the purpose of getting commissions. TC vendor, so the real estate commission's cool with this. So you can pay your TC if you're using a transaction coordinator at title, and they'll write a check to them. Same thing with vendor. The vendor one, I like to use, you've got $1 million property, it doesn't matter if you're buyer or seller rep. It's getting ready to close, and there's that inspection's done, and 4 shingles are missing from the roof or came loose or something like that. And then the seller's like, I'm not paying for this. I took a $200,000 hit on this, And then the buyer's like, well, I'm paying $1 million for this. Why should I get a place that doesn't have 4 shingles? In fact, I can't close on it because the mortgage isn't going to approve it. And you're like, I will pay for it. You call ABC Roofing or whatever roofing company you use. If you need references, agents love to give you their references or, recommends. $450. You put on here ABC Roofing, $450. Gets paid out of your commissions at closing. Okay? $1 million property, I think you'll be okay. That said, hopefully you can work it out that you don't have to do that. And then referring brokerage, this is for outside the brokerage. So you got a buyer from somebody in Denver, Keller Williams over in in the Denver office. Somebody sent you a lead, okay? And you just put their information on there. Title will ask you some more things, but basically they'll make sure to get them paid. And then you have 2 check boxes here, one for all documents submitted and staff requests are handled. No documents are read. You check those and hit submit. And then it comes into the office and the process starts. So nothing crazy on it. I know as new agents, you're going to be like, oh, I don't know, but you've got enough going on. Personally, as a newly licensed agent, I would just get paid through the office until you get your comfort levels with it. So Further down, we have that co-op listing information. So if you decided after the fact that you wanted to put it on Silver Creek listings, you could put that information on here. So that's this guy right here, the same thing we looked at before, but bigger. Further down the page, this is where your documents are uploaded, okay? And again, we're gonna do a live version of this, and I'm just really being granular and breaking it down for this part. So property documents, these are the required ones, and we use that term very loosely, okay? There's a little bit of variation on this based on the type of information, you know, if it was a buyer or seller listing or a buyer offer, or if it's like a lot or parcel land, those types of things. We do have some different documents requirements. You notice that there's a placeholder here, this gray box here. You'll just drag your document on top of that box, and that's how you upload it, okay? You can also press the select file and search. So if you are on your phone or on a tablet, you can't drag and drop icons. It's not us, it's their architecture. So you'll just do the select file. You do have to have the document saved, sort of, kind of, on your device. You can be using Dropbox and OneDrive and what's the Apple one? Anyhow, there's a zillion of them out there. If you use those, it thinks it's on your computer, that's fine. It just needs to be able to drag it in. If you're using Gmail, so since you guys are new, what are you gonna use, Instanet or Form Simplicity? You don't know? Do you know? Have you taken the classes on those?
I've used Instagram a little bit.
Okay. What?
Okay.
Instanet, what do you
Use Form Simplicity.
You do? Okay. I lean towards Instanet. Instanet is not available to all brokerages throughout the state. Interestingly, it is available in a different format. Transaction Desk, they have it in Montana. So our agents up there use that. Our agents in Washington will either use Instanet or Zip Forms, which is still the same company. It's a Lone Wolf. So I kind of lean towards Instanet, but nothing wrong with Form Simplicity. Just know which one you're using and get comfortable with it, I guess is my big point with that. So in Instanet, when you create a file, you know, all the address and all that kind of stuff, and the buyer or seller's name, whatever, oh, buyer, I guess. No, it could be seller. And then you go and you're going to create for digital signatures. You're going to pick the documents you want digital signatures on. You're going to select who's going to receive those, put in the emails that whatnot, the other side of the transaction, and anybody who needs to be copied and whatnot. You send it out, they sign it, it comes back, it's going to go into there. If it's Form Simplicity, same thing, it's going to go in there, a copy. It's then going to then email it to you, and all the documents will be separated. If you're using, how many people use Gmail? Everybody, okay. So if you're using Gmail and you receive the documents, you're going to see little PDF icons and the name of the document attached to your email. You can't just drag it from a browser in because it's not really a document. It's just a link to a document. So you have to download it to your computer first. Does that make sense? Okay. If you're using Apple Mail or you use Outlook, when you get the email, it actually downloads those automatically. So that is an exception. On your Mac, do you use Apple Mail?
Just
Gmail, okay. How many Mac people? 2? Okay. When it's time, when you want to get set up for printers, any of you with your devices, you want to set up, either come into Tech Hour, which is Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, and that's really any issue you have that's tech related. We're here and in this room, and anything you need us to work on with you, we can. But for printer setup, we do a lot of them then, or just set up a time for us to meet with you. You do need to be in one of the offices because you have to be able to connect to the printer in order to set it up, okay? Once you are set up for the printers, the Macs take a little longer, and I'm not real good, oddly enough, I have a Mac, but I'm not good with the printer setup, or I just don't do it regularly. Race or Porter will probably help you. On the Silver Creek Toolbox, might as well show you that. So when you're on the Toolbox, you can either do a search or you can come in here to, where are you? Actually, let's just do it right. IT. IT and support tickets. I'm probably, IT's and it's just like what she was looking up. I think it was CE. It just had too many. So just do support. Okay, and it would be right there. Or honestly, it has its own section on here. I'm just not seeing it. Anybody see it? Interesting. Okay, more to work on. So you'll find that the toolbox, it does change often, which is why we put in this search capability right here. So if you go to support tickets, you don't actually have to create a ticket, but it's easy to schedule a time for like remote, and we can remote in with you, be it a Mac or PC. So you don't have to be in this office. You can be in any of the offices. And once you're set up to print, you're set up for all offices. It's a Canon Follow Me printer system. So you could print here, drive to Idaho Falls, and release your documents there. So you just log into the printer with the last 6 of your SOCH and release documents, okay? The one caveat I have to this is if you do have the ability to change your password in our system, you don't have to use the last 6 of your SOCH for to log into M5 or to SC Office or to Toolbox at the same login. That login also works on all the computers and all the extra computers for drop-ins. But if you change your password and you already have the printer set up on a PC, you're going to have to get with us and to help you change. Okay. I'm hurrying, I promise. Okay, so back to this. So you'll just drag and drop onto here, and then it's just going to upload. It's going to turn yellow. Down here, we have other documents. So you just do the pull down, select the document type. Every document you can think of is in there. So, and then just drag and drop it in or do the select file. If you run out of spots here, you can add as many as you want, okay? Say you have a listing and you get 5 offers, one's accepted. So all 5 do have to be uploaded into here. You would just come down here, the first one will be up here, purchase and sale, and then down here you'll add the other ones. As you add them, if you refresh your page, they'll be up at the top, okay? It'll move them up there. And then when one's accepted, or more importantly, when the other ones are rejected, you need to let us know somehow. In the old days, we would put on there, we'd literally write rejected on there and have the seller initial and date it. I'm a little old school. I would still do that because I want to make sure if I'm representing the seller, I can prove that I presented all offers. Or if I'm representing the buyer, there's no question that our offer was presented. It was rejected, but at least I have proof that the seller saw it, you know? That said, that's not the law anymore. The law says that if the terms of the contract are not met, so it has to be agreed to by 3 days from now. You get beyond 3 days, it's not accepted, it's no deal, right? You know? So, but we still need to know which one you've accepted. So what I would do is come in here and just do add comment and just type rejected. That's all you need to do. And then we'll know it's rejected and we'll update your files and stuff. In fact, what'll happen is any ones that are rejected are going to be moved down into this dead or archive document so they're not cluttering up the rest of the page. It makes a big difference, especially if you're doing it on your phone because, you know, it gets kind of long if you have 25 documents in there and you're scrolling through it. So, that all make sense? Nothing too crazy, I hope. Up at the top, other things to be aware of. We have the update your information button. So if your address changes, your name changes, your email changes, this is a big one for you for Will's team. So if you get a new email that you want us to use to send to, make sure you update it there. Conversely, if you ever leave that team, I'm sure you're gonna love it, they're great people, but if you ever left the team, make sure you update us so we know and can contact you. Right at the top, it says what your outstanding balance is. This was a test account, so there's weird numbers in here, so don't get too caught up on them. But so normally $50 a month, it's going to say it up there. Anniversary date. So you want to get all your closings in before the anniversary date. You don't always have much of a choice, but you want to cap and pay lower fees and whatnot. Income or 1099s, that's the big one right now. So you're probably going to get, I know, not probably, you're going to get, what's today, Friday? So you're going to get two more emails. You probably already got the ones telling you that, yeah, that's me. And they're automated, so.
And what's the action step of
To
those?
stop them?
Well, to make sure that we're doing what we need to do on our end.
Well, if you haven't had any income with us and you just joined us, so there's nothing for you to do.
So I have in the past year.
You have with us? Okay. So you're just going to go to 1099s, click on that, and then you're going to see something that looks like this. Hopefully it doesn't have this many, but it should just have your name right there. If you had more than one profile, like, oh, I was on a team, I was individual, I started a corporation, all of those will show up in there. And you will see, well, corporation wouldn't have a 1099, so that won't show up. But individual LLC, that would show up in there. You'll pull that down and you'll just hit generate and it'll show you your 1099. That's it. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. If you have a corporation, then you're going to go down to income expense report because there is no 1099. IRS doesn't want us to file 1099s for corps. So once you go there, it's the same thing though. You'll see the list of your companies. If you had more than one, you probably only have one. But so that'll be up at the top here. Oh, this is income expense report right here. So it'll be right at the top. You'll pick the date range. So January 1 of 24 to January 31st of 24. And then you're going to generate, and then it's going to show you this report. It's going to have a list of all your transactions, the name of your client. If you have any referrals, like you referred an agent to us and you're getting profit sharing, that's going to show up on here, but it won't give you the name of the customer. That would be inappropriate. The closing date, was it a buyer or seller or both? Could be a dual agent. And how much did you receive in commission? David had one right here, 13,000. How much were the buyers? How much were the sellers? So that's kind of an interesting. You notice these are zeros. So maybe he's not getting paid a commission on these. Maybe flipping houses or something like that. Okay, but then you get your whole volume down here and your totals and all that. You can export this as a PDF somewhere up here. Download PDF, or I prefer spreadsheets. So you can do it like an Excel spreadsheet. Then down here are all your expenses. Anything you've paid to Silver Creek will show up down here, and those are all typically tax deductible. So, and that's how you get your income expense report. Up at the top, the only other thing I'd point out is transaction number. Well, that's also towards your cap. And then this is rare to see this, total transaction fees. I mean, you'll see the fees, but most people aren't worried about that because they're paying the full amount. You notice, I think on this one, it says 1.5 transactions. So if you two were doing a transaction together, you teamed up for whatever reason, and each of you paid half of the $495 fee, it would be half a transaction. So, that all makes sense? Nothing too crazy in there?
You can't split it more than two.
No, just two. Yeah, we tried to divide it by 3.333. Yeah, it was a pain. So we said, that's it. No more, just two people. But Emily. Well, it's the commission part that's really the stopper on that. Okay. If you go to, and I kind of just skipped over it, but if you go to pay and review invoices, that's going to take you to the pay portal, and you'll have to log into it. That's a secure portal. Everybody should have been given, received an email from accounting at silvercreekrealty.com with a login or setup email, basically. Did everybody receive that? Okay. If you, no, to set up your pay portal. So you could pay Silver Creek. But even without the pay, like if you were going to pay with a check, that's okay. We can do that. But this is where you're going to go to be able to see things like your payment history and your invoice history, because you can click on the invoice. Here you go, invoice history. You can click on it. It'll open up. You'll see all the details of everything you paid. So, maybe you bought signs one month, and maybe you, every once in a while we have trucker hats at the front desk. I don't know why it's trucker hats, but somebody at Silver Creek likes to do trucker hats, and they sell them for like $10 or something like that. I don't know, but any of that kind of stuff. Or your print, so you did 1,000 print jobs, we charge you for prints beyond, what is it, 200 for black and white and color. We do our best, Oh, and by the way, if you have problems printing, let us know. Like if you have to do accidental prints and stuff, we want to be fair. So just let us know. It's not the biggest thing on people's minds until it is. So, but in here you can do auto pay. You can set up your wallet. You can just pay one-time pays in here as well. So that's the whole idea to this. It's just our whole goal is to make this that you can do this from anywhere you are. Not just pay, but your whole business, that you don't have to come to the office, but you can, either way. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick, actually open the real thing so you can see what it looks like.
Does scoffice.net go to the same place as toolbox.silvercreekrealty.net?
No, they're actually different sites. There is a link in the toolbox for the pay portal. So if we're in here, not pay portal, there is a link for that too, but for SC Office, well, here we go. It's right here, agent account. We've got the pay portal right here.
The top row, isn't it?
Document portal right there. Yeah. So it's,
On that and it goes there.
yeah, it just goes to that site. But it is a separate site, so you have to log into it. So I'm going to log in as David.
And this is just for uploading paperwork.
And seeing your transactions, yeah, for both. Communication. It's just a communication portal. So I would just go to it, and you'll see that's what I was talking about. The address is a little bit different at the top, and just save that address, and then you can just go directly there from your phone or whatever. So here we are. We're logged in. David's got a whole bunch of yellows in here, so he created files, and nobody's reviewing them. They don't like to review David stuff. I'll just say we're doing an existing property. While it opens, I'll take a drink. So if I had another agent, I would click here and start typing the name of the agent, and they'll come up. Same thing on teams and transaction coordinators. What is Will's team?
The collective.
Oh, great. Why is he not in here?
It could be under Swigert.
Yeah, I think it might be. I don't think we ever.
Outdated. Bryn. Oh
I don't know how to spell Swigert.
no. SWYGART.
No, of course not. So what would he be under?
Should just be collective. That's how it's listed in the MLS.
Well, we'll figure that one out for you.
No worries.
We're definitely not going to put them on here because that's going to freak them out, though, this person. They should be in there. Maybe he doesn't have a team account. I don't know. In SC Office. I'm not sure how he does stuff. Further down the page, we'll just do an address, 8765 West Beehive Way, Meridian 83642. And as I mentioned before, we have Montana and Washington. So if you ever want to get licensed over there, we got you covered. Let's see, we're going to do a listing, so we don't have a buyer yet. We're just going to do something with Nani Appleberg. Yeah. Yeah, how's that for a made-up name?
Good one.
If you're personally, I've played with this. If it's Cher or someone with a single name, Elvis, just, I don't know, there's a few of them out there now. Yeah, Gandhi, put them in, well, it's actually Mahatma.
We're on a first name basis.
Oh, okay. But that's his last name.
Second name basis.
It's kind of weird, this vaunted person who was,
There you go.
yeah, Bono, okay. Yeah, but Gandhi, everybody calls him Gandhi, right? But it's Mahatma Gandhi. So that's his last name, isn't it? Or is it an Asian thing where the first name's the last name? Okay. Anyhow,
And it's odd that his name was Muhammad because he was a Hindu, wasn't
Mahatma.
he? Oh, Mahatma.
Mahatma, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was Hindi. Seller name. So we don't need the entity, but if we had an entity or email or any of that, these are those fields. If you check these, you can fill in these fields. Okay, I'm not going to do it. This is live, by the way. I don't want to actually put fake stuff on the website. All of this, we don't have any of this. So I'm just going to come down here, and David and I have a thing. So please share 50% commission with George Pafundi. That's Pafundi. Fun's my middle name. Submit. So now this is going to create the, you think I would have done the spell check thing and say add to dictionary. Pafundi should be in there. It's thinking, doing the spinning. Okay, so here we are. If we needed to change any of this information, we could. Did you guys have any questions on the distribution authorization, the DAs? Okay, so I'm going to go down. We're just going to add some documents. I'm going to split my screen. It's easy. Zoom in a little bit. And let's see, I think I have some test files someplace. Desktop. There we go, test files. Okay, so I've got a seller rep agreement. I'm going to come over here to my seller rep. I'm going to drag it. I'm going to hover over. Does it look gray on the screen? Yeah. And in a moment, going to show yellow up here. It's review requested. This is green. Anybody colorblind? You may not be able to tell the difference. I did have one person who was colorblind. So the red, the yellow, he's like, it all looks great to me. So I was like, great. So let's see, what else would we have? Oh, if we have a property condition disclosure and you're on your phone or something like that, you go select file, navigate to wherever that is. So property condition disclosure, and then it's going to upload that way. So something that can happen, because it locks it. When it's yellow, it locks it. And that's because we wanted to have surety that you successfully uploaded. So what happens if you went to upload something and you put the wrong thing in? So purchase and sale agreement, let's see, lead-based paint, and I don't know, you lost your mind, you were drinking while doing this, I don't know. And you put the lead-based paint in there. Even though it says purchase and sale agreement, it's lead-based paint. So you can't take it out once you do it. But what you can do is say, oops. Oh, oops. Sorry. It's a purchase and sale. They're going to know it's a purchase and sale as soon as they look at it, and they'll change it. So not much you need to do.
Can they take it out?
They can change it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would just relabel it instead of purchase and sale lead base, but you still need to get your purchase and sale in there. So what are you going to do? Well, scroll down here. Purchase and sale agreement. And now we're going to grab our purchase and sale, and we're going to put it in here. That's it. That's it. That's all we have to do on here. So that looks simple enough. It really rarely has problems. The only thing that we ever see is sometimes that Safari thing. That's about the only real problem that we have with it. But maybe you'll be the person who proves me wrong and comes up with a new thing. I didn't actually show this to you, but I'll just go here. Update your information. Anybody here in LLC right now or corporation? You are?
We have an LLC.
Okay. You don't have to use it. It just...
Right, yeah, I don't know.
So if you did want to use it, first, these are pretty straightforward. You change your name, email, that kind of stuff. If we come down here to, and everybody turned in emergency contacts, right? I know that's the sad part of life is that we need to have emergency contacts, but we're big enough that we've had a number of agents who have had incidents. Nobody's died or anything like that, but we have had a stroke, we had a seizure. We've had some fairly serious stuff, and we had to reach out to their family. So please make sure that's in there. Here's your business. So if you're going to put a business name in, you just type it in here. That's not enough, though. We need to have the W-2. So if you need to do a W-2, if you click on this, that'll open up the IRS website with the W-2 form. You'll fill this out. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Just something to point out to you on this. So you have these check boxes. Oh, and I should tell you, did they actually update something? Oh, yeah, thanks. Great. So if we download this, normally it would let you fill it out. There's something weird going on this computer. But if you had filled this out on here and then printed, it would be completely blank. It's an IRS website thing. You'll want to make sure you save this to your computer first. It's all editable. Just save it first. That's all. But anyhow, you have in here like individual sole proprietor, C Corp, S Corp. So you'd have to pick one here. But then right here, you notice there's this, it's kind of hard to see it. There's this field right here. That they want you to put in what it is, a C Corp, S Corp, whatever, okay? Other than that, you have to sign it, so you just print it off, sign it, and once you do that, if we come back into SC Office, wherever you are, if we come back into SC Office, you'll drag and drop it on top of this gray box. It goes right to accounting, and they'll get it all set up so you can pay to that entity. You are by no means required to use an LLC or anything like that. I've had PMG as a home builder for years and years and years and years, so that's what I use. But it's not a corporation, you know. I'm not. My wife's a CPA. She'll tell you don't do a corporation unless you really need a corporation. You know, if you're doing, millions of dollars, yeah, you need a corporation. But other than that, I mean, you can do an LLC. That's great. So that's it with SC Office, unless you guys have questions on this. And then we're just going to talk a little bit about websites, and then you're done. Anything? You hanging in there? Okay. Websites. So if you're on the Silver Creek Toolbox, right here we have this update agent profile page. If we click this, it's going to bring up a form, and it's just really basic, just an outline. This is really, if you already have a bio, just go down this form and paste it in here, the comments and questions, paste your bio, and we'll get it uploaded. If you want to use this format, that's great. It has like a service section, a commitment section, background, that kind of stuff. The only real required things on here, I think, are your contact information. You can upload a picture, those types of things, if you haven't already given that to us. Once you do that, we're going to take it and we're going to go to the silvercreekrealty.net site. That's this guy. It's been around for eternity and a half. I think I made this in 2010 or something like that. So that's not an eternity, but see, it feels like. So this does have the ability for people to search the MLS. So I'm just going to pick this one here. So if someone does a search, I know I'm zooming in and out, making it hard on you. You'll notice this is all the MLSs that we're parts of. And if you zoom in closer, it'll show more. But someone can do a search on here. If they do a search, after so many searches, they'll be asked to register. That lead's going to come to me. I don't want the leads. I mean, I'm happy to have them, but I've got to figure out what to do with them then. And generally what I'll do is I'll find somebody in whatever area it is and send it to that person. I'll pick somebody. You happen to be walking down the hallway and it's local. It's like, here you go, but that's it. That's not the goal. All of you have the ability to have pages. So our agents, since you're in the front, how long have you been with us?
September officially.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with someone newer. How long have you been with us?
November.
Man, anybody recent?
A few days ago.
A few days ago. What's your name?
Len Levitt, and they already put an old picture up there.
That's what we do.
L-E-N.
So almost right away, we're going to have something in here. I'm sorry, Len what?
Levitt.
Levitt?
L-E-V-I-T-T.
Yeah. Let's try it. Just love it. Leonard.
Leonard.
We can change it, but you can put that on that request and we can change it.
Go to the, I have to go to IRAC and tell them it's my nickname.
Yep. They are serious about that.
I just uploaded, but I'm curious if it.
Okay, we can take a look.
Take a while.
If you just uploaded it, then no. 3 days maybe. What's your name?
Brooke. Carter.
There you are. So when you join, we create a page for you, but it may not be updated yet. Come on. You can do it, computer. This computer, yeah, we haven't done it yet. So, but we'll get to it. So we have something on here. Now, here's the thing. If someone does a search from your page, they come in here to Idaho Falls and they do a search. After however many searches it is, the person will be asked to register. I will get the lead, but it'll say on there, referring URL, silvercreekrealty.net/profile/your name. Great, I know who to send it to then. This site, it's not sophisticated. Sorry, I'm starting to dry out.
Can you search other agents on the site?
Yep. Sorry. I get to this point on every time.
And there's 433 pages of agents pictures.
Easily.
Yeah.
Well, 2,200 agents-ish. Give or take. Give.
The agent search.
So that's this site. It's still, even though it's not like a dedicated for you site, I still want to see you guys get your information on there. One, it's going to help on that listing site because it leads back to you. Two, it gets a lot of hits. It's somewhere between 27,000 to 60,000 hits a month. It's just been around forever. That's why I don't get rid of it or go to a different method of managing it, because it's kind of like having a really big billboard just on a super highway, So get your picture on there. There's two things that the public does or uses your site for. One is the tools. I want to search. I want to do a loan calculation. I want to, whatever the little tools that are on there. The other one is to validate or verify you are who you say you are. Are you really a real estate agent in Idaho? Are you licensed with Silver Creek Realty Group? Is it true you like horses? I don't know. Whatever you put on your page. Before we have some other options I'm going to go over, but before we had those, Google, they're by far the #1 indexing service, and you want to be indexed. If you put on your site that you are a real estate agent in Idaho and everybody likes you, and that's what you put on your site, they're going to index that, and you're going to get no hits. And the reason is, unless, maybe you and your mom, maybe your husband and wife, but not my wife. But, you're just going to get the people who are really familiar with you. And that may be okay. But in terms of indexing, Google likes authorship and they like uniqueness. So you want to leverage any unique information about you. And I've said this for years, and I had an agent who came to me, this is years ago now, but they said, George, I got a hit on my site. I gave them my speeches. And I said, okay, well, let's analyze it, figure out where'd you get not a hit, they got a lead. I said, where'd they come from? How'd they find you? All that kind of stuff. So the person did a Google search for a real estate agent who's part of Garden City Rotary Club. And they happened to put on their site that they are a member of Garden City Rotary Club. So it's a networking service, right? That's kind of the Rotary Clubs and stuff.
So you're saying when we upload our profiles and hear all the hit words that we do
Google will index every single bit of that information.
So be unique and be specific. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's just the opposite of some of the garbage you hear out there. It's like, oh, you want to say that you're number one in sales. Really? Do you know how many people say they're number one in sales? You know, it's great if you are, but it doesn't get through Google. That's the problem. I'm not saying don't put that you're number one in sales on there, but give us some information that's unique. You do motocross with the kids. I don't know. The horse thing. I think mine has me with a Harley. You know how many phone calls I've gotten from people who just search our website and they're like, oh, I see you have a Harley. And I literally have gotten leads that way. They don't know me from Adam. They're just going through the pictures on our site. And my picture had me with a Harley. I do recommend keep your picture professional. I can't remember who it is. Yeah, well, there's one guy, he's a firefighter also, but he's got a picture of him and he's standing there in his real estate stuff, you know, just normal clothes, but behind him he has flames everywhere. It's really a comical picture. I don't know if he's getting hits, but I recommend stay away from the flames. But whatever.
There's, after tech hour, there's coaching for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be a good time to talk to someone about branding and pictures and strategy? And all
Yeah,
that?
we have branding trainings and all that kind of stuff. Kim does branding, or just set up a time to meet with Kim. That's always good. I do recommend, it's branding, get a domain name if you don't have one. I don't care what it is, just something short, ideally, that tries to convey who you are and what you do, where you do it, I guess. GeorgeSellsIdaho.com. That would be good. Probably not available, but you know what I mean? Just something that's short enough that people will get the message. And then get with us, and we can forward that domain. You don't have to build a whole website or anything just now. We can help forward it to wherever you want it to go. If you want to use your page on here, great. If you, we have Lone Wolf is the next thing I was going to show you. All of you get a Lone Wolf profile page. So that's this. So let's take a look, meet our team. Let's look up Len, or Leonard still. Is it L-E, how do you spell it?
Leonard.
We can change that to Len if you want. So we haven't updated this with your picture or anything, but when you send in your profile, we'll update. But this is your Lone Wolf one. And it won't change. So this is that address. This is free. If someone does a search here, or they can write reviews and all that kind of stuff of you here, and yes, we can get rid of bad reviews. We have that control. If you get any listings or anything like that, they'll pop up on here. And so it's a decent enough site. They can search. So we have two paid services. One is Lone Wolf. It's $20 a month. Lone Wolf comes with Cloud CMA, which you get through the MLS. In IMLS, you don't get it in other areas of the state, but you get it here. The version you get through the paid version is a little fancier. So it's Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf owns Cloud CMA. They own Transaction Desk and Instanet, and they own this. They also have something called Boost, which is a paid service for marketing. It's not expensive, but it does get a lot of hits. And you can do Boost without paying for a site, but if you're going to do a site and you just want a site that's going to let you manage your like a CRM, where you can put your contacts in, you want to be able to keep organized, do email blasts and text blasts, drip campaigns, and have a tie-in with your website, so if they go there, you get those leads and whatnot. Lone Wolf is great. The negative of Lone Wolf, we've had them now since September, and we're still working through a lot of little struggles. They came out with a new version. They call it Front Office, and it's supposed to tie everything together, except in our experience thus far, it's a challenge getting everything to talk to everything. So we're working with them, and they've conceded that, in fact, it needs some work, and we are the test people for it. Yay. But I'm hoping in the next couple months we'll have it all shined up and real pretty. But it works great. Honestly, for $20, you can't touch that with anything else.
And so that's something we would pay for extra if we
Yeah.
went to CRM.
If you want a CRM, we had a free version. It was the only one that was really out there was Boomtown. Boomtown was purchased by Inside Real Estate. We actually have Inside Real Estate's other product, or had. It was KV Core. And then over about a 2-year period, they have been moving them closer and closer together. And Boomtown was great because it had a CRM and a website, and it was dang simple. It was just, a basic use it. And it wasn't free to us, but we paid for it for all the agents. They pretty much have scuttled it, and they've changed their product name from KV Core to Bold Trail, which we do have that at $60 a month. And we'll keep it. But the Boomtown product, technically it's still out there for a little bit of time, but it's pretty much going away. So we didn't have a choice. We had to do something. And this is so much more expensive than Boomtown that we had to charge something for it. So that's why it's $20. We don't like raising our fees. Since 2008, we've raised our fees once. We went from $450 to $495 per transaction. We've never raised our $50 a month. So we're really, and we keep giving more and more and more tools. But at some point, we just can't, lose money on it. So there you go. That's where Lone Wolf comes in. But you do have the free one. It just and it just doesn't have the CRM for it. So, or a free website. So then the last one would be KV Core, and I should show you in Toolbox.
You have the free one, you said. What?
Well, you have a free
CRM.
profile page.
Yeah.
You've got actually 2 profile pages, one for Lone Wolf and one for just the SilverCreekRealty.net. The Lone Wolf one is SilverCreekRealty.com. Okay. And then, but there's no free CRM, is what it comes down to. You have a free website, and your customers can use it. And sometimes it will get back to you, but sometimes it won't. And so that's the caveat to it. If you go into the toolbox and type Lone Wolf, you can go to that page. And there's a bunch of information on it. I don't know if we put actually we did. That's where you would sign up for the paid version. Down here, support articles, training classes. If you do this, nope, that's not the one I wanted. So actually, I need to add this. We had them do classes on Silver Creek TV. So if we go to Silver Creek TV, I need to put a link on here. I gotta stop typing in all caps too. Everybody's gonna think I'm yelling. Silver Creek TV. I think it's playlists. Lone Wolf trainings. I need to get a link to this. It's gonna start automatically if I don't stop it. In here we've got these trainings, 1, 2, 3, 4, to go through. They were live trainings. Each one's 1 hour. Much better than what they do through the Lone Wolf service. So I highly recommend, you can watch those whenever you want if you want to see what it can do and how it works and set up and that kind of stuff. The other thing you can do is the Bold Trail, formerly KV Core. So you can see a little bit about their product. There's some videos on here and, different things that they can do. Bold Trail is only available for it's available for $60 a month. There's no other versions of it. There is a team version of it. There's also sort of a team version of Lone Wolf. But I've asked them how it works, and thus far they can't tell me. So I wouldn't jump on that bandwagon just yet. Brightside, it's free, but it's pretty limited. The KV Core version is $3.99 a month, so it's expensive for a team. It's $3.99 plus one person has to be paying $60. We don't get any of the $3.99; it goes directly to them. The $60 we get, which helps pay back our fees that we have to pay them. The positives of each: Lone Wolf is inexpensive. It ties in with a lot of their services. It is has a great looking website. I don't think I showed it to you, did I? Oh, I guess I did. Get rid of this. And get rid of this. And close this. Got too much open. In terms of the website itself, it's going to look something like this out of the box for an agent. Lots of properties, what your home's worth, little comments, some standard pictures. But it can be completely customized. And for $20 a month, it destroys anything else out on the market. It's actually really, really good. Other than that, tying in with all of their services sometimes takes some work. And I would argue that it's not intuitive on the back end. You need to do their classes in order to learn how to use it. KV Core, in contrast, this is what it looks like out of the box. You can completely customize this, colors and layouts and things like that. It's templated, so it's a little easier to set up. This is very, very basic. There's a lot of pretty ones, and you can do all kinds of stuff. And it's great if you have a team because you can truly manage your team through it. So if you have 10 people on your team, it's going to cost you $3.99 plus $60. We don't charge extra for the other members. So obviously you wouldn't get a team for one person. You would get it if you have a bigger team. And that's up to 15 people. So it's cost effective at that point. But initially it's not. It ties in with a lot of Bold Trail services. So I would say it does better than Lone Wolf at integrating with outside services. They have less inside services. It's very intuitive. So when you look at the back end, you can kind of learn it really fast. And I think that's why, that's their argument for the higher fee than what we're paying for Lone Wolf. So, and those are subsidized numbers, by the way. If you went out and tried to get, Bold Trail on your own, it would be $499 a month. So it's a great deal. It's just still $60 a month. And especially when you're just starting out in real estate, that can be a lot. So the other positive with our systems is if you try out Lone Wolf or something like that, and you do it for 3 months and don't like it and you want to switch to something else, just cancel it. There's no contracts, there's no nothing like that with us. So same thing with the Bold Trail. It's $60 a month, but you can cancel it at any time. So we're paying for those licenses whether or not you're using them or not, okay? So I've designed all of our systems to kind of be use it how you want to use it. But definitely you want to go out and get a domain name if you don't already have one. Even if you're on a team, get a domain name. Be able to market yourself under that name. Build your business, not Silver Creek's. We're happy to have the business, but build your business. Okay? That's it. If you want to see the back end of any of these, obviously you can watch the videos on those CRMs, but Tech Hour is a great time for that. Because then I can it's nice at Tech Hour because you get 5 people in here or something, and then I'm doing it on the screen, and then other people have questions, and you learn a lot.
Are there any classes or even tips about data? So for example, if you post a video versus a flat post, what kind of hits you get, what kind of responses you get, like engaging data that's out there, that could be resource towards your videos?
Kim does do some of that in her, I think actually Kristen does some of those too. That was here earlier, Kristen Call.
Curious.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the calendar. And it's hard to do, we have a hard time getting people to show up to classes. Newly licensed agents, you guys tend to show up, but other people don't. And so we do it once and we record it, and so it's available on Silver Creek TV. So I would say first, if you're curious what we have, if I can find Silver Creek TV.
I guess the question
There it
is,
is.
who would be the behavior what?
Kim is our marketing
Okay,
director.
great. So that would be, oh,
Yeah. I would say I'm good at behavior stuff, but that's her job.
awesome.
My behavior is more bad behavior. You get to talk to me when you're angry. But definitely do go in here and look at videos. And then if you do a search, by the way, it's YouTube, Silver Creek TV. If you do a search and you want to know, let's see, what would we call that? Marketing hits, I don't know. Okay, didn't find anything. Just do
Maybe
marketing.
social media,
Yeah,
data or behavior, I'm not sure.
social media.
It's probably a broader question, just in general.
It's important to real estate, introducing, stay informed. I mean, there's marketing deep dives. I mean, there's lots of stuff in here. So if that's some of your recruiters, you two were probably worked with Megan. Well,
Initially, yeah.
yeah. And then you probably went with Jessica.
Yeah.
So that was Jessica. That's Jessica. Hmm?
Is Megan still here?
At the moment?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you knew her from Will's team?
Yeah, and then I thought she was here too.
Yeah,
Oh,
she became the new agent recruiter. So we try to hire from within. She used to run the team for Will.
I think she was an assistant.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did all the transactions and that kind of stuff. So yeah, she's here. And Jessica used to be, she's on a few teams, but with Juniper Cooper, Juniper Realty, I think is the name of the team. Good sized team. So all of our staff, that's not true. All of the leadership, they're either agents or have been agents. So we're all coming from experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
Stay dry out there. It's starting to look overcast, and I did not think it was going to do that today. Anybody who's online, see ya.